Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Bad Comic Review Streams. How's everybody doing? Let's see who's in the chat. All right, we've got Shady. How you doing, man? Yeah, I saw those books you showed me. Those are awesome. Hey, Buster. Hey, Evil One. Hey, old guy. How's it going, man? Hey, Oki. Hey, Best Remy. Hey, John. Hey, Donald. Hey, Evolved. Hope everybody's doing well. Hey, Jordan. How's it going? All right, let's see. Hey, Keldrick. All right, we're going to cover some news here. A lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. Hey, Ginger Power. I'm not here. I'm in bed as I should be. You can be both. You can both be listening to this and in bed. That doesn't mean you should sleep. Because when you sleep, that's when Freddy Krueger gets you. All right. So let's start off with some interesting news from People magazine. My computer's running a bit slow, so just bear with me. Anchorman and The Office star David Koechner arrested on New Year's Eve for suspected DUI. He was arrested Friday afternoon and spent the night in custody. Great way to start the new year. Discovered a Brie Larson fan channel. Wow. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I imagine they're understandably biased. Hey, Angela, how you doing? Ah, cool. Hey, Pete, how's it going, man? David Koechner, the actor known for movies like Anchorman and TV roles like Todd Packer on The Office, was arrested on New Year's Eve. The 59-year-old former Saturday Night Live cast member was arrested in Simi Valley, California on Friday at 3 p.m. local time, according to online records. His vehicle was towed and he was booked at 5:15 p.m. The actor was later released on New Year's Day at about 6 a.m. According to TMZ, the first outlet to report the news, Koechner was arrested on a suspected DUI and hit and run, claiming he allegedly ran into a street sign with his vehicle while driving under the influence. He was photographed Sunday at a gas station filling up his car, the outlet reported. A rep for Koechner did not immediately respond to People's request for comment. He is due in Ventura County Superior Court on Wednesday, March 30th. Koechner has upcoming stand-up comedy tour appearances on his schedule as soon as this Thursday in Rochester, New York, where he'll perform through Saturday night. He currently stars in the new sports drama National Champions. Now, this is one of those guys that makes the rounds. He's a pretty good actor, but he's just never made it as a star. So you've probably seen him in a dozen different things. So yeah, it's kind of sad he made such a bad decision. But that's what happens. You spend New Year's in the clink. Hey, Anthrax. Hey, Retro. So yeah, he spent New Year's in the jail. He looks drunk all the time. How'd they catch him? That's a good question. No worries, Anthrax. So yep, he got his drink on and got locked up for the night. He'll probably get slapped on the wrist to be a fine or something. He's relatively famous. Famous people don't do real jail time. All right. Let's see what else we got here. That's super exciting. All right, so I don't know if anybody knows who Cold Chamber is. It's a band, apparently. I'm not as hip with the kids, but this is a heavy metal band. Hey, JMK, how's it going, man? I don't sell Asians, Buster. That'd be human trafficking. No felonies in chat. I don't own any people. This says new concern for former Cold Chamber bassist Reina Foss, who's been missing since September. New metal fans take note. According to New Orleans police, the original bassist for the now-defunct California band Cold Chamber, Reina Foss, has been missing since September of 2021. Police say Foss, now 51 years old, was last seen on September 7th, 2021, according to reports. It was Foss's group home manager who had communicated her disappearance. Why is she in a group home? Currently, it's unclear if Foss lived or worked at the group home. That's a really shit picture, Fox 8. It's all grainy. That looks like a milk carton from 1980. Foss was one of the original members of the goth metal group after... That's why I don't know who they are. After joining singer Des Fafara and guitarist Miguel Rascon in 1994, performing on their first 3 records. 1997's Cold Chamber, 99's Chamber Music, before leaving the band. She would return for 2002's Dark Days, but immediately following, Foss departed Cold Chamber again, this time for good, to set her attention on raising her then 3-year-old daughter, Kayla Maury Rose, whom she shares with ex-husband Morgan Rose of Seven Dust. I've heard of that band, but couldn't tell you anything about them. For those in the area, Foss is apparently 5'3" and weighs approximately 200 pounds. Well, she's a heavy-set woman. And no last known clothing description has been made available. New Orleans police case is still pending. Anyone with information on Foss's whereabouts is asked to contact New Orleans police. So yeah, she's been missing since September, early September too. So I have to say she's probably dead. She might have some kind of mental health issues too. She wasn't a metal band after all. Hey, tall person. Hey, Lesser. Bad oil painting, right? Buster, if you keep talking about human trafficking, you're going to get timed out, dude. That's not okay to talk about. You're going to get me in trouble. Hey, John. How's it going, man? Hey, Zombie. Goth metal band. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. Maybe I did and just blocked it out of my memory. But yeah, she's missing. So if anyone knows, contact Nolans police. Yeah, it's sad. That she was pretty cute back in the day, but time was not kind. I know you're joking, but some idiot will get me in trouble because that's how fucking morons work in this fucking system. All right, so yep, we got some missing people, and let's see, we got a dead guy here somewhere. Nope, those are just people that probably are incompetent in life. All right, here we go from the CNN. It's not legal here, Evolved. That would actually get me in real trouble. Sidney Poitier, Oscar-winning actor and Hollywood's first black movie star, dies in 94. He was old. I didn't know he was still alive. I thought he died like a decade ago. Sidney Poitier, whose elegant bearing and principled on-screen characters made him Hollywood's first black movie star and the first black man to win Best Oscar, has died. He was 94. They're still capitalizing black all the time now. Clint Watson, press secretary for the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, confirmed to CNN that Poitier died Thursday evening. He overcame an impoverished background in the Bahamas and softened his thick island accent to raise the top of his profession at a time when prominent roles for black actors were rare. He won the Oscar for 1963's Lilies of the Field, in which he played an itinerant laborer who helps a group of white nuns build a chapel. First of all, Lilies of the Field sounds like a porno. Never been to New Orleans, but meaning to go. Yeah, you'll want to not go anywhere at night if you're in like, it's fairly safe in the touristy areas, but I wouldn't go outside of those without a couple of guardians. Oh, he's ambassador for the Bahamas for a while. I didn't know that. Many of his best-known films explored racial tensions as America was grappling with social change brought by the civil rights movement. In 1967 alone, he appeared as Philadelphia detective fighting bigotry in small town Mississippi and In the Heat of the Night, which is a good movie. And a doctor who wins over his white fiance's skeptical parents and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Yeah, there's some language in those that you could not put in a movie today because they dropped the N-bomb a few times. Poitier's movies struggled for distribution in the South, and his choice roles was limited to what white-run studios would produce. Racial taboos, for example, precluded him from most romantic parts, but his dignified roles helped audiences from the 50s and 60s envision black people not just as servants, but as doctors, teachers, and detectives. He was a groundbreaker in a lot of regards, and I don't know if that was because of his talent or just because of the times. He was in the right place at the right time during social change, but he was a good actor. At the same time as the lone black leading male in the 1960s Hollywood, he came under tremendous scrutiny. He was too often hailed as a noble symbol of his race and endured criticism from some black people who said he had betrayed them by taking sanitized roles and pandering to whites. Now, that type of criticism, looking back on it, was really unwarranted because he was taking on as many roles as he could in order to further, because you're not going to really get a major motion picture if they don't want a black person to be that. You have to take kind of the sanitized role and kind of compromise in order to break enough ground to set it up for the next person. It'd been an enormous responsibility, he's told Oprah in 2000, and I accepted it, and I lived in a way that showed how I respected that responsibility. I had to. In order for others to come behind me, there were certain things I had to do. Exactly. He opened the door for a lot of people. So I'll drop this in the chat. He was a good actor. It's a shame. Yeah, I always thought he was from Florida too, Oki. But I guess the Bahamas is kind of like Florida. Well, we stuck to the tourist area at night. Yeah, because it's surrounded by the fucking hood. New Orleans is mostly ghetto. That is a shithole city. And I do mean shithole. So if you're going, you go to the prime tourist areas and stay there, pay a little extra. Because don't go during Mardi Gras if you can avoid it. It's fucking super dangerous down there. There's a lot of gang problems too. All right, let's continue the trend of getting dead people out of the way because it's depressing and nobody really wants to be brought down all night. Oh my god, fucking load. This one comes from New York Daily News. Comic book men reality star Robert Bruce found dead at storage facility. Robert Bruce, who appeared on dozens of episodes of Comic Book Men and also served as a producer on the reality series, was found dead Friday in New Jersey. The 62-year-old Bruce's body was discovered in Red Bank at the City Center Plaza Professional Records Storage Facility, NewJersey.com reported. Comic Book Men, which ran for 7 seasons between 2012 and 2018, was shot at the Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash comic book store in Red Bank. Filmmaker Kevin Smith, who owns the store and created the series, tweeted Saturday that Bruce was always a welcome addition to any episode of Comic Book Men at AMC, as well as a really nice guy. I'll miss Rob, Smith tweeted. Wow, that's deep and heartfelt. Rob Bruce, Comic Book Men in 2013 in the picture. Bruce's body was found after family members became worried that he might be living in a storage unit. Authorities are investigating his death and don't believe it to be the result of foul play, according to NJ.com. Bruce was a consulting producer on 82 episodes and a cast member of 34 episodes of Comic Book Men, which aired on AMC. He was known on the series as the pop culturist. Well, I guess we know how well that pays off. The Red Bank-born Smith, who starred in Comic Book Men, directed films such as Clerk, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Yeah, he was such good friends with this dude. The dude was living in a storage unit from the sound of it. That's a rough way to go. Well, that sucks. I wonder if he had other issues. You're too happy. That's not how that works, tall person. It's supposed to be the flip. Those parents were visitors born premature. Oh, okay. Hey, Tyler. Went to New Orleans for New Year's once, never again. Was in the late 80s. Yeah, dude, I don't blame you. My brother went to Mardi Gras down there, and on the way back from hanging out down on the tourist shit, whatever the area is. I keep wanting to say the old West Side, and that's not right. They were going about 2 blocks away from the major events, and they got jumped by some gang members. But yeah, it was older and fat. Yeah, that's true, Okie. So yeah, I don't have everything I've heard about New Orleans, and the one time I was there, I was like, this place is really hot. It smells like pee. Everything's dirty, and there's a lot of bums and gang members everywhere you look. I'll drink until everything's okay. That's fair. Yeah, the French Quarter. Thank you, Donald. Couldn't think of the word for some reason. That's true, Pete. That's true. New Orleans is bad now. It's been bad since before Katrina, but it's just worse after Katrina. And that's been a while, too. And it hasn't gotten any better. There's a lot of corruption down there. And we all want things to get better, tall person. You're not wrong, Okie. Yeah, you just stick to certain areas. Like the French Quarter is pretty secure because that's where the tourists go. And you should be okay. All right, let's talk about Twitch. Because they're not really Twitch. I had family in New Orleans. Oh, that's cool. All right, this one comes from PC Gamer of all places. Turkish police arrest 40 in Twitch money laundering scandal. It's a credit card scam exposed by last year's Twitch leak. Last year's Twitch leak had some unexpected outcomes, and one of the most striking was how it exposed an alleged scam involving certain Turkish streamers and money laundering. The scandal was big enough to catch the eye of Turkish politician Gürsel Tekin, vice president of the Republican People's Party, who in November called on the country's Financial Crimes Investigation Board to conduct an investigation. You do not want to go to jail in Turkey. The newspaper Daily Sabah has reported that today the Turkish police arrested 40 individuals across 11 provinces of the country, and 4 suspects remain at large. The Turkish government's chief prosecutor office is running the investigation, and unspecified documents and digital materials were seized as part of the raids. The alleged scam involved using stolen credit cards to pay certain streamers in bits, a Twitch currency that streamers get paid for receiving. The streamers who agreed to take part in this alleged money laundering accepted enormous amounts of bits. When they were paid, the streamer kept a share and returned the rest to its source. When the scheme was exposed, several streamers copped to what had been going on. BBL Lego, whatever, a streamer and Valorant Pro, admitted to taking part in the scheme in a Twitch longer post in which he said that roughly $4,000 was sent to his channel. His Twitter account has since been suspended. He says he was approached by a former friend with a proposition to make extra money. Viewers would earn bits by watching ads, presumably on his channel, and then share a portion of those bits with him. All perfectly legal and above board, he was assured. I jumped like a fool and said, okay, he wrote. Later, when I realized that the bits were anonymous, I became suspicious and wanted to quit. But since I was on the rise at the time, the person who did it had a trump card on me. Even though I told the person many times I didn't want to continue, I was forced to do it. Sure, dude, sure. Many other prominent Twitch stars from the country have been linked to the scandal, though Turkish authorities have not yet named those arrested in the latest raids. They did, however, specify that some of the suspects are minors. It's Turkey, so they'll probably still throw those kids in jail. Well, that's kind of fucked up. So, wire fraud, yeah. There's a lot of charges they're going to face. Mugged in front of the Capitol in D.C. Oh, geez. Yeah, D.C. has really gone downhill. My dad lived in the 60s in the French Quarter and went to lots of jazz. Oh, yeah, that would have been a good time to be there. I like the term money laundering. Money needs to be clean, dirty as fuck. That's true. Yeah, so don't commit crimes in countries with really sketchy prison systems. This is really the lesson there. All right, let's see here. What do we got next? All right, let's talk about reboots. Everybody loves a reboot. Hey, Monkey, how you doing, man? Gonna throw money at Weibo? That's cool. There are lots of easier ways to launder money. They pick one that's easily traced electronically. Well, they are in Turkey, so 50-50 on whether they can actually do that. No reboots. Yeah, good luck with that, dude. The Honeymooners reboot with female lead in the works from Damon Wayans Jr. at CBS. It's from Variety, so actually a pretty reliable source. A female-led reboot of the classic sitcom The Honeymooners, produced by Damon Wayans Jr., is in the works at CBS. Written by Blackish and Mixedish alum Lindsay Shockley. The Honeymooners is described as a bold, female-fronted reimagining of the iconic working-class comedy centered around new wife Ruth and her husband, Alex, who are determined to have a marriage where they are true equals in every way. And now she's going to threaten to zoom him to the moon. Well, what happens when a marriage has two heads of household? Are they co-heads or no head at all? We all know how this is going to go. The multicam project, currently in the development stage, hails from CBS Studios and Wayans Jr. and Cameron Tarlow's Two Shakes Entertainment, with a pact with CBS, which has a pact with CBS. That sounds like you have a deal with the devil. Oh, well, yeah, maybe you do. The reboot does not yet have cast members attached. The original Honeymooners ran from 1955 to 1956 on CBS. Sitcom was created by and starred Jackie Gleason and was based on a reoccurring comedy sketch from Gleason's popular Variety Hour. The iconic show focused on the daily lives and hijinks of Gleason's New York City bus driver, Ralph Cramden, his wife Alice, played by Audrey Meadows, Ralph's best friend Ed Norton, who was played by Art Carney, and Ed's wife Trixie, played by Joyce Randolph. Shockley is executive producing the potential Honeymooners reboot alongside Wayans Jr., Tarlow, and Kelly Park. Park is set to direct should the project reach the pilot stage. It'll probably get a pilot because these are executive producers on Blackish, which has been very popular. So I don't know. This is going to be fucking dumb. You can't recapture that magic, and it was a product of its time. Hey, Della. Hey, Merle. You didn't miss much. We just talked about some people dying. Yeah, Midnight Express is a great example. On a scale of 1 to 10, then it'll be a negative 50. It wasn't even a success in the original show. It made it big on Nick at Night. Yeah, it didn't really. It had its following, but it never really got very far because it only lasted 2 seasons, 55 to 56, maybe 1 season. But it was always one of those things people referenced because it was Jackie Gleason. So I'm not surprised because they did that. They did a movie version of it with some really unfunny black dudes. Ed Lover or something like that. I want to say Cedric the Entertainer, but I don't think that's right. I'm not looking it up. I'm too lazy. You do reboot. You need to own the right. Do you need to own the rights to the original? Yeah, usually you have to, but I think that was a CBS show, so CBS will already have the rights to it. Oh, thanks, sir. How's it going? Hey, Louie. Pow, right in the kisser. Exactly. Did Bob Dole die again? Not yet. Yeah, Gleason didn't want to do it anymore. That sounds right. Oh, yeah, Cedric. Ah, nailed it. Aha. I remembered something. All right. Let's talk about the TikToks from E! News. TikToker Candy. Oh. Let's try that again. TikToker Candace Merly dies unexpectedly at 36. TikTok community is mourning the death of Candace Merly. According to the obituary, the content creator passed away at her home in the Canadian province of Newfoundland and Labrador on Sunday, January 2nd. She was 36. Cause of death was not revealed, but a GoFundMe page set to cover funeral expenses. Her sister, Marcia McAvoy, wrote Candace's death was very unexpected and a massive shock to their family, one that has left their hearts torn apart. I'm guessing suicide. Candace was full of life and always lived her life her own way. She was full of energy and loved to dance and listen to music. Can't forget about her bingo. Oh, how she loved bingo. There's not much to do in Newfoundland, so most of all, Marshall wrote on GoFundMe that she loved her son Maxwell and her family dearly, and we can't forget her cat Stash. We just know she's dancing in the sky right now. And, oh God, this is depressing. She had 2 TikToks account and combined fan base of about 44,000. Her last video was shared on passing January 2nd. TikTok made her famous, etc. So yeah, I don't know. She's pretty small for TikTokers to be mentioned like this, but yeah, so she died. So if you guys were fans, sorry, bad news. But it's nebulous, like they always do when there's a suicide. I'm more intrigued by the bass player from Cold Chamber going missing. It sounds like she had some mental health issues. Whenever I hear the term TikTok community, right? Yeah, that should be a thing. It's like saying the Tumblr community. Whenever I think of TikTok as a community, I can't help but wonder when they're going to have their DashCon. Because you know it's got to happen. All right, over at Forbes, COVID-19 outbreak among Star Trek Picard crew shuts set down. Crew members filming Star Trek Picard tested positive for COVID-19 on Monday, leading to a halt in production of the show, a source familiar with the situation told Forbes, making it the latest film and TV production to be disrupted by the nationwide surge. More than 50 crew members across different production zones, including Zone A, which represents cast and those who interact directly with them, tested positive for the virus on the first day of production after the holiday break, according to the Hollywood Reporter. The source declined to tell Forbes how many crew members were affected, but said filming is expected to start up again next week. Filming of NCIS, which is also produced in Los Angeles, was reportedly paused this week after a cast member or crewmate that interacted with them tested positive for the virus. So somebody from the Picard team talked to somebody over at NCIS, and now they're shut down too. Or paused, at least, where everybody got a Q-tip jammed up their nose. Los Angeles County recorded 37. I don't care. Yeah, that's kind of the crux of it here. So yeah, they're filming seasons 2 and 3 back to back because they got greenlit for a third season, and I guess they're only doing 12 episode seasons from what it sounded like. So they're trying to film them back to back like that, but this is going to put a big damper on that. It's probably just because she was remotely famous, sir. That's the only thing I can think of. They're not insurgents. Oh my God, Pete. Yeah, that's a girl you could talk into butt stuff. Yeah, I haven't watched much NCIS beyond. I think the season Ziva left was the last season I saw. I know they're talking about bringing the guy that played Denozo back because Gibbs retired. Mark Harmon's still an executive producer, but I haven't really been following the show. My dad watches the reruns, but I don't give a shit about it. No, Giovanni, I don't think they're that smart. They'll take this as a sign that they just got to try harder and double down on all the woke shit. Yep. Why is my mouse not moving? Uh-oh. Hang on a second. I'll be right back. All right, mouse battery died. That's not good. Yeah, Abby's not on the show anymore. She hasn't been for 2 or 3 years. She's kind of old too. Everything's fine, James. Thanks for asking, though. No, just the mouse battery died. I had to grab a new battery. All right, we got to talk about the main story of the day that everyone is talking about. This is from the New York Post. In what can only be seen as the worst retirement tragedy in our entire generation. 90 Day Fiancé star retires from selling farts after heart attack scare. Rip fart lady. I bet she made a killing off that. Not in the heart attack sense. I don't know, James. I don't know how they wrote her out. Yeah, I think there was some kind of kerfuffle between her and Mark Harmon. She had a fart attack. Gotta love the New York Post. Reality TV star who launched a gassy venture peddling her fancy flagellants to strangers, Stephanie Mateo, 31, blew away people on social media when she recently announced that she was making more than $50,000 a week selling her farts. The Connecticut resident had gained international recognition after appearing on the reality show 90 Day Fiancé and later started her own YouTube channel, wrote books, and founded an X-rated subscription site called Unfiltered with no E. She then really made waves with her olfactory business by capturing her emissions in jars and selling them because she thought it would be a hilarious publicity move that would get a load of people's attention. Yeah, and she made a killing off of it. 50 grand a week. Wow. But after making $200,000 in sales, the influencer has announced her retirement when she passed one too many and got the wind knocked out of her, Jam Press reported. Mateo was rushed to the hospital with chest pains she feared were symptoms of a heart attack, according to the outlet. After undergoing a battery of tests, including blood work and an EKG, Mateo was told that her pain was the result of her steady diet of gas-inducing beans and eggs. That just sounds... What are you, a hobo? I thought I was having a stroke, and these were my final moments, Mateo told Jam Press. I was overdoing it. The self-proclaimed fartrepreneur, that's funny, has squeezed out up to 50 jars worth of farts a week to keep up with demand. And even added protein shakes to her diet to make them more pungent. Gross. I remember within one day I had about 3 protein shakes and a huge bowl of black bean soup. Were you constipated too? Those shakes will make you fart, but they don't always make you poop. Sometimes they can make you clogged up. I could tell something was not right that evening when I was lying in bed and I could feel pressure in my stomach moving upward. It was quite hard to breathe, and every time I tried to breathe in, I felt a pinching sensation around my heart. That's not good. And that, of course, made my anxiety escalate, which made it worse. I actually called my friend and asked if they would come over to drive me to the hospital because I thought I was experiencing a heart attack. It was made clear that I was experiencing wasn't a stroke or a heart attack, but very intense gas pains. Mateo told the outlet, adding that she did not tell docs about her rear racket. I was advised to change my diet and take a gas suppressant medication, which has effectively ended my business. Oh, I'm pretty sure you'll think of new ways to make money, lady. Mateo explained that she decided to launch her butt business on a whim after getting requests. Who asked for that? Like, hey, would you sell a fart in a jar? As luck would have it, once I put the jars up for sale, they begin to sell like hotcakes. That's fucking weird. Probably the same two dudes trying to bid for them. Honestly, could not believe the demand. I think a lot of people have this fetish in secret. Gross. I began this venture by eating mostly protein, muffins, shakes, and also hard-boiled eggs. She said she decided to branch out a little bit and try some new recipes to keep it exciting. The natural gas manufacturer's menu also included black bean salad, onion and ham and pepper omelets. Gross. Like, she's okay looking, but a little thick in the booty. You ain't that pretty, honey. Well, who's giving you all this money? What? I think that this sounds like money laundering. I think that certain foods produce better smelling farts, Mateo said, explaining she put a heavy emphasis on smoothies. Despite her financial success, the reception to her unique business has been mixed, according to Jam Press. I have a lot of people praising me, calling me a girl boss, telling me that I inspired them to be unashamed of who they are and what they do. But on the other end, I have been getting a ton of negativity. I've even received death threats, people telling me I should end my life, and so on. Well, that's the internet, honey. So yeah, she had to cut her pooping business. She's still got everything else, though. She's got a YouTube channel. She's got books. What was the other thing? She's got an X-rated subscription site. So I'm sure she's made plenty of money. She said she made $200,000 off that. That's pretty good run for a couple weeks of farting. Hey, Raymond. Hey, Frosted. Yay, capitalism, right? Farted herself to death. Start selling dirty underwear and socks. That's gross. No. They're all Hollywood sheep, Angela. Pretty sure people buying farts is definitely the end of Western capitalism. It may be. I don't know. I don't fucking know what to think. This is gross. People are disgusting. Ugh. All right. Let's talk about everybody's favorite. What'd Monkey call him? Benedict Cumbersnatch? Cucumber Patch? I know you love him, Monkey. Wes Anderson taps Benedict Cumberbatch, Ralph Fiennes, finds whatever his name is, Dev Patel, Ben Kingsley for Roald Dahl adaptation at Netflix. It's from Variety. This looks like two guys from a lineup, like Suspects and something. Wes Anderson is signed on to direct an adaptation of Roald Dahl's The Wonderful World of Henry Sugar, starring Benedict Cumberbatch for Netflix. Sources also note Ralph Fiennes, Dev Patel, and Ben Kingsley have joined the cast, with production expected to start this month in London. Netflix had no comment on the reports. First published in 1977, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and Six More is a collection of 7 short stories crafted by British author Dahl for older children. Cumberbatch will play Henry Sugar, the protagonist of the titular story, which poses the question: if you could see with your eyes closed, would you use your power for good or for personal gain? The new movie marks Anderson's second outing with Dahl's classic works after the filmmaker crafted The Fantastic Mr. Fox into a stop-motion film in 2009 and co-wrote the screenplay with Noah Baumbach. The Best Animated Feature Oscar nominee was boasted at A-list voice. I don't fucking care. Yeah, that's kind of the news. There's a bunch of blather. News of the project follows the streamer's acquisition of Roald Dahl's story company in September 2021, when plans were announced for the development of an extensive universe of animated live-action film and television projects, including a series based on the World of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory from Tiki Watiti, really, and Phil Johnston, as well as publishing games, immersive experiences, live theater, and consumer products. I wonder if it'll be a shared universe and we'll get like the Avengers version of Roald Dahl. Already in the works is Matilda the Musical, starring up-and-comer Alicia Weir as Matilda, Emma Thompson as Miss Trunchbull, and Lashana Lynch as Miss Honey. Bunch of other shit I don't care about. So yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be in a Roald Dahl movie. Weird casting choice, but okay. Women like that don't have dignity. Like Ralph Fiennes is cool as Voldemort and Francis in Red Dragon. Yeah, he was really good as Voldemort, I thought. He's a really good actor, but he's kind of a weird looking dude that's kind of creepy. Henry Sugar sounds like the villain in a blaxploitation film. Yeah. Set in like the early days of slavery in America. All right, let's see. We're about that time again where it's time to remind you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're so inclined, please feel free to donate to the Streamlabs to support me. It always helps. And thank you all for coming out as usual. The Twits live action. I don't remember that one. Is that like the Stupids? All right. Let's jump over to Bounding into Comics for a second. And we shall see that Spider-Man No Way Home earns more at the box office than Shang-Chi, Black Widow, and Eternals combined. That says a lot about the Eternals and Shang-Chi, doesn't it? Black Widow, that was probably the best one of the three. Which the Eternals is going to be on Disney Plus in early February, I think. Shang-Chi's already on there. Well, this is not surprising, but it's going to blow up the narrative that these movies all did bad because of the coof. Spider-Man No Way Home continued to dominate the box office with its worldwide gross now topping Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and The Legend of the Ten Rings, and the Eternals combined. The latest Spider-Man film brought in another $52.7 million at the domestic box office in the last weekend of 2021, bringing its domestic gross to $609 million and its worldwide gross to $1.3 billion, according to the numbers. Both Spider-Man No Way Home's domestic and worldwide gross top all three of the other Marvel Cinematic entries in 2021. Yeah, it's almost like fun movies do better. Weird. Black Widow earned only $183 million domestically and $375 million worldwide, but the film was released on Disney Plus the same day as its release in theaters. If they had stuck with theatrical only, it probably would have done better, but not a lot. Disney claimed the film earned $60 million from premiere access purchases on Disney Plus. That's $60 million paid out by a bunch of fucking rubes, because that movie was not worth $30. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings domestic gross hit $224 million and a worldwide gross of $417 million. The film hit these markers without any competition for over a month at the box office. So it had zero real competition, and that's all the better it could do. It didn't even double the worldwide gross. Didn't double the domestic. That's pathetic. Eternals, the worst performing MCU film of 2021, also grossed $164 million at the domestic box office. Its worldwide gross was $399. China hated both these movies because they didn't even fucking let them screen it. So, yeah, that's probably what hurt them a little bit, but that and the movies were shit. Someone posted a comparison, and Jen Psaki is Peppermint Patty from Peanuts. Oh, yeah, totally. I like Tom Holland a little better than Andrew Garfield. I find him super annoying for some reason. Check. Trailer gave me no reason to care. Yep. Yeah, Eternals was dog shit. It was boring. 10 Mystic Space Bracelets. Yeah, pretty much, Giovanni. If you add up all three of the film's domestic gross totals, you get 572 million, well below Spider-Man's 609 million. Looking at worldwide, Spider-Man No Way Home crushes the three films. Their combined total is only 1.193 billion. Even if you add the 60 million from Disney Plus premiere access of Black Widow, that brings the combined gross of all three to 1.253 billion. That's still over 100 million below Spider-Man's No Way Home. Can't fucking talk. I think No Way Home was the best of these three movies, but yeah, it's got a lot of problems. I don't like what they're doing with the MCU's version of Spider-Man. This techno shit is really dumb, and there's a lot of other problems. But here we are. As YouTuber OMB Reviews points out, Spider-Man No Way Home destroys the pandemic narrative surrounding the poor box office results of Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and the Eternals, which I just said. And I don't know who the fuck this clown is, but that's a creepy looking avatar. Looks like a little kid dressed up with a fake hobo beard. The YouTuber states again, this is the pandemic era film, which is destroying various pre-pandemic films in the box office, which again is destroying the pandemic box office narrative, which has been used as an excuse for countless box office flops this year. That's true. It just goes to show that if you create a product that people actually want to see, if you create something for the fans, I don't know necessarily if that's true, but it's something that's actually for the fans, he continues. If you actually provide fan service and provide a story and actually provide the hype around the story, fans will actually end up going out and seeing the film in droves, which is why this film is outpacing not just films like Rogue One, The Dark Knight, but it's also outpacing, as of this point, films like Avengers Infinity War, at the very least in the domestic box office. I think a big draw for this is you're getting the people that liked the Andrew Garfield movies and the people that like the Tobey Maguire movies all coming out to see this one, even if they don't like Tom Holland. And I thought it was nice to see Tobey Maguire. I think he's a good actor, despite Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 1 and 2 were great. I love Spider-Man 2. I thought the one with Doc Ock was the best of the three. But I know other people bitch about that. Magic is a big no-no in China. Yeah. Black Widow is the best MCU movie ever. I doubt it. It didn't have Bob Dole. Garfield was good. I didn't like him. Took me 5 days to watch Black Widow. It was just boring. Yeah, sadly, that one was better than Shang-Chi. And definitely better than Eternals. I liked Florence Pugh. I thought she did a good job, but it was just a okay movie. I'll probably never watch it again. None of the Tom Holland movies were 100% garbage. Like Spider-Man 3 or Amazing Spider-Man 2. Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, I hated. The first Amazing Spider-Man was just the 90s cartoon episode 1 stretched out into an hour and a half movie. And Jamie Foxx is a shit actor. That dude is so vastly overrated. The thing is, people feel like they have to hate Black Widow. I thought it was an okay movie. It just wasn't, it didn't blow me away. It was just okay. I don't feel the need to go revisit it. Some of those who hate Tom Spider-Man will only further refuse because nostalgia should be selling them. Yeah, well, they don't want any fan service at all. Yeah, I'll probably rewatch Eternals on Disney Plus if somebody makes me, but not that excited about it. People only hate Spider-Man 3 because it's popular too. That movie was not that popular. I didn't like the Venom actor. Was that Topher Grace? That dude can't act. Garfield's a great movie. Oh no, I like the Orange Cat Garfield, just not Andrew Garfield. I don't like Spider-Man having web shooters. Yeah, they did address that in this movie, actually. Spider-Man is a good movie. Jack said it was a good movie. Things would be different. I doubt that highly. Looking forward to Doctor Strange 2 and the Batman. I'm holding out hope those will be good, but I don't have a lot of faith that the Batman is going to be good based on what Pattinson's doing. I don't think he was the right choice for that. I was willing to give him a chance, but the more I see of that movie, the worse it looks. Yeah, they absolutely should have left Venom for a sequel. I think it was fine with the other two, and they didn't need to insert Venom in there. Yeah, Jamie Foxx just seems like a real smarmy dude. There was never an Amazing Spider-Man 3 because Amazing Spider-Man 2 was garbage. And the box office receipts back that up. All right. Let's laugh at the for those of you that haven't heard, there's been a little bit of a kerfuffle with the idiots at the Tolkien Society. So let's laugh at that for a minute. Happy 130th birthday to the legend that started it all, J.R.R. Tolkien, right? From the Melonheads. Not the mythical urban legend out of Ohio and Pennsylvania and Michigan, but the podcasters apparently. And then Tolkien Society Blue Check says, "Do you have permission to use that image?" Because they apparently bought this image and several others, which Monkey was telling me about the other day off air. And it goes on, right? It's a non-fungible token, right? And then this person says, "Why would they need permission to pay tribute to a historical and beloved person? I found this picture on several sites. Was it supposed to be kept a secret?" And they said, "Would you be able to provide us with those sites as well, please?" And of course they apologized. "We didn't realize it was a copyrighted image. Very sorry." But no. See, they said something stupid. And you know how the internet loves people being stupid. So now when you go over there, these tweets are protected because they're smart. So they're waiting for this to blow over. But of course, the internet can never forget, and some people archive something. So if you want to remind them of their stupidity for trying to bully somebody on social media over a fucking picture, there you go. Yeah, Rodline, it's a bit over the top. And they have gone very woke. So it's not a surprise that somebody, if they don't like somebody, they're going to go after them and try and put their balls on your chin. All right. Bleeding Cool had this interesting bit of information for fans of Star Wars. Pre-orders arrived for Star Wars TBS Boba Fett prototype armor. Some white armor looks really cool. Boba Fett's back as it looks at the new prototype armor figure from Star Wars Black Series, heading exclusively to Amazon. The figure was revealed yesterday for the Bring Home the Bounty bonus bounties event, and pre-orders have finally arrived. Originally designed as a super stormtrooper, the armor has been claimed by Boba Fett, has some interesting roots, and is back once again in figure form. The all-white prototype figure was originally a Walgreens exclusive, and now it's back with new packaging as part of Star Wars Black Series The Empire Strikes Back line, priced at $26.49. This figure will come with a blaster, pistol, and a white cape that is quite captivating, apparently. If you missed the original release, be sure to acquire him right here before he sells out. Be wary of the terrible Amazon shipping service, though. No real release date has been revealed, and be sure to watch the Book of Boba Fett on Disney+. So, yeah, it looks pretty fucking cool. Let's see if we can get a bigger picture of that. It's expensive, but that is a really cool looking figure. It does incorporate like some more pouches that didn't make it into the final version of Boba Fett, but it does show the stormtrooper roots of the figure because these look like speeder bike legs almost, and a modified helmet. But the stormtrooper look is definitely noticeable when you see it in all white like that. That looks really fucking cool. The blaster's different too. This looks more like the long range rifle than his regular blaster. And you'll notice that the cord here that holds his Wookiee scalps is still there. But if you guys want to order this, there is a link here. If you're out of the U.S., it might be a different thing, but there you go. Still thought it was messed up renaming Ship Slave 1 to Toby. It's Kunta Kinte! Like the Boba, even if the Tusken Raider segments are dragged down by Boba and the present being a gang boss. Yeah, I think they would have done better telling two stories, two separate story arcs, but I get what they're doing. I just think it would have been better as separate stories. But yeah, I've been liking it. And I think people are getting real bent out of shape about the Tusken Raiders for no reason, because this is one tribe of Tuskens. Not all of the Tusken Raiders. There's not like 30 Tusken Raiders all over the wasteland. But all the Ralph McGuire figures have been pretty cool. Yeah, they always look cool. But no, the Book of Boba Fett's actually been pretty decent. I've been really happy with it. So, yeah, I mean, some people are unhappy, but these figures look really fucking cool. These Black Series ones, they are expensive. The price has gone up because they used to be $24.99, I think, right around there. And now they're up to $26.50. But this is an Amazon exclusive. So if you really want one of these for your Star Wars collection, there's the link. Oh, money holes. Boba Fett worse than the Mandalorian? It's about on par with it. I've liked it a little bit better so far. Oh, thanks for subscribing, Remy. And thank you, Evolved Potato. This is why I much prefer the Society of Tolkien to the Tolkien Society. Yes, those are two different groups. The first one was made to counter the woke fuckery the other was doing. Good for them. Yeah, I've heard of them a while ago because of something else stupid Tolkien Society was doing, where they were trying to say that Sam and Frodo were coded gay. They've been pushing that one for a while. Fuck the Tusken Raiders. Yeah, they're a cowardly, superstitious lot. Could lay a bit of smackdown, but I liked it. It's boring. Yeah, I can see where people think it's boring, but it's really not advertised as an action show. The way he escapes the Sarlacc pit is very similar to what they did in Marvel Comics when they brought him back out, being found by the Jawas and stuff. That was very similar to that. They changed some other stuff, but I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, they've really added a lot of depth to the Tusken Raiders that were just sort of a throwaway species in the movies. They did a little bit more with them in the prequels because they're kind of like cannibals and stuff there. But this is just one tribe of Tuskens, so there's that. All right. Now, let's look at ComicBookcom. Simpsons Ultimate Wave 2 figures pre-orders. Bartman, Duffman, Krusty, and Hank Scorpio. I totally want a Duffman figure. The Simpsons superfans will undoubtedly be delighted with the first wave of 7-inch Simpsons figures in Super 7's Ultimates line, launched in August last year. We expect that will be the case with Wave 2, which adds Bartman, Duffman, Krusty the Clown, and Hank Scorpio. A breakdown of the new figures in Super 7's Simpsons Ultimate Collection can be found below. As usual, the case with Ultimate figures, the accessories are outstanding. Note that each made-to-order figure is priced at $54.99. It will be released with a release date set for December 2022. So we got two different heads, comic book, slingshot, skateboard, several different hands, the dog, and the bird. So, yeah, 9 interchangeable hands, skateboard, slingshot, utility belt, soft plastic cape, Santa's little helper, a bird's nest. Here's Duffman. All right. And he has 3 interchangeable heads, 9 interchangeable hands, 1 Duff Beer 7-pack, 1 Duff Beer foam finger, Santa's little helper as Suds McDuff, and 1 soft plastic cape. I'd totally buy that. Then here we have Hank Scorpio. 3 interchangeable heads, 6 interchangeable hands, 1 flamethrower, 1 fuel tank, 1 hose, 1 grenade, and 1 world's best boss mug. There's Krusty, also a good addition to any collection. 3 interchangeable heads, 7 interchangeable hands, 1 microphone, 1 box of Krustios, 1 cream pie, 1 Mr. Teeny figure, and 1 robe. No word on a Canyonero vehicle, which would be fucking awesome. Yeah, I got bored with The Simpsons a while ago, but the first, I'd say 6, 7 seasons were the best ones. Love how the Jawas and the Tuscans used to be the same species, but over millennia changed into what they are. Yeah, I think they've written that out of canon. Rodline, that's irrelevant. They're gay now. That's what that means. I think Scorpio was the best boss. That's what the mug says. But I know there's still some Simpsons fans out there, so there you go. They look like pretty cool figures. Super 7 does make really nice stuff. So if you're interested in Simpsons, that would be the route to go. All right. Now, for those of you interested in cards, we got some interesting news from ICV2. Topps is being acquired by Fanatics. 3 new trading card divisions of Fanatics has acquired the new trading card division of Fanatics has acquired the trading card business of Topps from Michael Eisner's the Torrent Company and Madison Dearborn Partners, the companies announced. Topps Candy and Gift Card division will remain with the current owners and will be renamed the Bazooka Companies, Inc. The acquisition comes after Fanatics announced in August that it had acquired exclusive licenses to produce trading cards for Major League Baseball, football, and basketball under an ownership structure that gave equity in the company to the league and players' associations. Fanatics is a major owner of Fanatics trading cards, with the league's player associations and investors owning the rest. The company grew out of an e-commerce company selling licensed sports merchandise online. Fanatics raised $350 million last fall at a $10.4 billion valuation to fund its new trading card business. It plans to build a business that allows collectors to buy, sell, grade, finance, break, and trade and store trading cards all in one place. A plan for Topps to go public through a merger with a SPAC, see Topps going public, fell apart after Fanatics announced that it had taken the baseball trading card license. Topps has been producing baseball cards since 1952, owns the Garbage Pail Kids property, and produces Star Wars trading cards under license. Fanatics' acquisition price for Topps trading card business was around $500 million, according to CNBC. The deal allows Fanatics to begin selling trading cards immediately using Topps infrastructure rather than waiting for its new baseball license to begin in 2025. Tornay and Madison Dearborn acquired the company for $385 million. That's a pretty good profit in 2007, and retained the candy business. So they still own Bazooka Gum. The strong emotional connection between Topps collectibles and consumers of all ages, built through 70 years of tradition, starting with the Shorn family, will make it a jewel in the Fanatics portfolio. Torrent owner and former Disney CEO Michael Eisner said of the deal. So yeah, Topps is changing hands. They lost the baseball license, and they're getting shuffled off. I know baseball cards aren't what they used to be, but they've definitely made a comeback over the coof. Hey, Evil Fair, how's it going, man? All right, so that's big news for trading card fans. Come on. All right. All right, so let's talk lawsuits. This is from the Hollywood Reporter. Disney can't sink Pirates of the Caribbean suit over Jack Sparrow character. Disney's latest attempt to sink a lawsuit over the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise has been scuttled by a California federal judge. It's actually really surprising because usually Disney gets their way. In November 2017, A. Lee Alfred II and Ezekiel Martinez Jr. sued Disney over the franchise. The duo claims their spec script defied pirate tropes by having Davy Jones be funny instead of fearsome, and their work was plundered to create Jack Sparrow after their producer sent it to Disney. They've been accused of this probably 1,000 times, but they always manage to kill lawsuits. Bazooka gum, the only thing more solid than Nokia phones. Is true that. Shatters windows. Yeah, it's a real. You're not wrong, Evolved. It's really kind of an American thing for some reason. I guess it was product more of the 50s and 40s than anything else, and it's really just something people do growing up collecting baseball cards. So with like soccer or the foodie ball, it just never really seems to catch on anywhere else. It's big in North America, and that seems to be about it. Disney seem to have defeated the suit in May 2019 when District Court Judge Consuelo Marshall granted its motion to dismiss, finding the similar elements between the 2000 spec and the 2003 film Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl were largely unprotectable generic pirate fare. But in July 2020, the matter was revived by the Ninth Circuit Court, which found the screenplay shares significant similarities with the film to survive a motion to dismiss. This is a big kick in the nuts for Disney. The appeals court found it premature to definitively determine the similar elements are unprotectable, and additional evidence and expert testimony would help. State the opinion. This would be particularly useful in this circumstance where the work in questions are almost 20 years old and the blockbuster Pirates of the Caribbean film franchise may itself have shaped what are now considered pirate movie tropes. Alfred and Martina has filed an amended complaint, and now Marshall has denied Disney's motion for summary judgment because of conflicting expert testimony. While Disney has argued the writer's expert is unfamiliar with the pirate genre and the legal analysis used to evaluate substantial similarities, notes Marshall, these arguments go to the weight of the plaintiff's expert report, and the court cannot weigh evidence on summary judgment. Plaintiff's expert opines that the pirates' work are substantially similar and have original elements in common, whereas defendant's expert opines that the parties' work are not substantially similar and common elements, and the parties' work are common in the pirate genre generally, writes Marshall in the order, which is embedded below. The opinions from the parties' experts thus create a genuine issue of material fact and dispute rather than whether the works are substantially similar. So the whole thing's linked in here if you want to read it. It's pretty interesting. I don't know if these guys have a real case or not. I haven't read the spec script, but it wouldn't surprise me if Disney straight up stole it like they've been accused of doing many, many times before. The first one was the only good one. Yeah, absolutely. Would Disney need to pay for all the films they made because of what started the series? Probably. Because if they stole from this script to make the characters and they're similar enough, yeah, they might have to go back and add these guys on future releases too. What they'd largely do is just buy them out. And that would be part of the settlement was, well, we'll just buy everything from you. Here's several $1 million. But Disney's going to fight it because they never give up when they think they can steal whatever they want. All right. Over at the CW, which, by the way, is for sale. I don't know if you guys knew that. Oh, thank you, Republic of China, for the donation. Appreciate it, man. Look up YouTuber Zayla Foxlin. You'll thank us later, you capitalist swine. I'll look it up later. Thank you, man. Yeah. Okay. So the CW was put up for sale real recently, a couple days ago. Probably because all their shows are woke garbage. But executive producer Ava DuVernay confirms the CW's Naomi will emphasize identity politics. Because that's what people can't get enough of. More identity politics. One that I just broke Scribe over with over on the corner. Oh, yeah, it shoots me in DMs, dude. I'll pull it up quick. I look in it after Jack's stream. The CW's upcoming superhero series, Naomi, based on the miniseries created by Brian Michael Bendis. It's generic black superhero lady who's a Mary Sue. We'll emphasize identity politics, confirms the show's executive producer, Ava DuVernay. Which, if you've ever seen Ava DuVernay's name come up, it's always with woke shit. DuVernay was infamous for threatening to discriminate against white men. Recently talked about the show at the Television Critics Association, as reported by Deadline. It's not about representation, it's about normalization. We all know black people are normal, dude. The executive producer claimed, we're doing really muscular things that relates to race and gender and class, but we're doing it by playing it normal, like it's just part of the everyday. She elaborated, I say it kiddingly, but it's real. The more you can portray images without underlining or highlighting them and putting a star next to them, by showing a different type of hero that centers on a girl, a black girl that centers different kinds of folks, we start to make that normal. And that's a radical and revolutionary thing. No, it's really not. We've had lots of shows and movies with black girls in them. Like a lot. All the way back in time to at least Cosby. There were black kids in that were main characters. Yeah, that's dumb. Someone should let her know that Storm was the leader of the X-Men and has been since around 1975. Yeah, Storm was leader of the X-Men in the late 70s, early 80s. There have been a lot of prominent black superheroes over the years. Some of them were women. DuVernay also nixed the idea that the character would be crossing over in any other shows, saying, in terms of crossovers, we're not thinking about that right now. She's on her own path. I really think this is the first part of the Naomi verse. I don't. I think this is going to last maybe 2 seasons. And they'll get desperate and try to do a crossover. She doesn't want to do a crossover because they're with evil whiteys. That's what I suspect. I have no evidence, but that's my suspicion. People need to be trying to cross over into here. So we'll see what happens. But we won't see any crossovers in season 1. We're focused on Naomi's journey singularly, she asserted. While the series is based on Bendis and Walker's miniseries, DuVernay also said, we got a lot of information in the first 2 episodes, which means we get to make up cool new things. Yeah, because that white dude, no, they don't want him in there. Oh, look, bisexual man. Minimizing a lot of white people back here, and this black dude. That character's so fucking lazy. In the show's trailer, DuVernay described just who Naomi is. So Naomi is pretty popular. No, she's not. She lives in the Pacific Northwest in this little town called Port Oswego. She has a really cool crew of friends. She's a snazzy dresser. She loves comic books. In fact, she really loves Superman comic books. And she's going to go to prom with the most handsome man ever because I have to live through all of my fantasies in my TV shows. One day, something crazy happens in her town, and she finds out why she loves comic books so much and why she loves Superman specifically. And it's something that blows her mind and is more seismic and cosmic than anyone can imagine. Don't believe everything you think. That's what Naomi's about, she concluded. Ugh. Sounds awful. The official description from DC Comics from the original comic book series states, DC's biggest, newest mystery starts here when a fight between Superman and Mongol crashes into a small northwestern town. Naomi begins to uncover the last time a superpowered person visited her home and how that might tie into her own origins and adoption. Follow Naomi's journey on a quest that'll take her to the heart of the DC universe and unfold a universe of ideas and stories that have never been seen before. Yeah, bullshit. It was a boring comic and it wasn't interesting. It was just a bunch of people yapping through issue 1. And first of all, stop calling comic books seasons. Those are TV shows. There's no season 1 of a miniseries. It's just a miniseries. They had another miniseries. Nobody cared. It's fucking dumb. The sales weren't that good. They tried to make it a thing. Just like they keep trying to do with Miss Marvel. All right, so it's going to follow Superman and Lois. Premieres January 11th. And season 2 is going to start on March 8th. So there's that. Yeah, well, a lot of comic readers said the same thing, Frost did. Nobody cared. Yeah, she's one of those people that thinks that she's the first to do anything. Jon Stewart, Steel, Vixen. Yeah. Black Panther, Falcon. They've all been around a long time. This is nothing new. You're not the first person to create it, but she's one of those people that can't get away from it. Oh, yeah, she's not like other girls because she's cool and reads comic books and stuff, yo. Oh, yeah, forgot about this one. Another E-News one. Snowdrop actress Kim Mi-so dead at 29. Actress Kim Mi-so has died too soon. South Korean native who recently appeared as Yeo Jung-min in the South Korean TV series Snowdrop has passed away at 29. Kim suddenly left us on January 5th, her agency Landscape said in a statement, according to Variety, citing a translation by Jungang Daily. The bereaved are deep in their sorrow at the sudden sadness. That's horribly translated. Please refrain from reporting false rumors or speculation so that the family can mourn in peace. Further details surrounding Kim's cause of death have not been confirmed. Snowdrop was announced as one of Disney Plus titles in October and also stars Blackpink's Jisoo. That's actually how I knew about this. It was on my feed because I follow a lot of Blackpink. Marked one of Kim's final on-screen appearances just 4 years ago after her on-screen debut. She was also reportedly cast in Disney Plus's Sixth Sense Kiss before her untimely passing. Following the news of her death, fans took to social media to mourn the shocking loss of the young star. There's some tweets from people saying how awful this is. But yeah, she was young, 29, no word on her death. But she did have some other casting stuff. I read another article about some other things she was supposed to be up for, but she was definitely cast in Sixth Sense Kiss. Disney people here are given a lot of accusations of how bad they're overworked, but in Korea, it's so much worse. The Asian work ethic is insane. Like the girls from Blackpink, they'll rehearse all day long, and then they have their solo projects they have to work on. And one girl who was, I think, with Girls' Generation would talk about how during training, when they're like 14, it was very common for girls to pass out and then get revived, get a little bit of water, and right back at it. So dance your feet away and get calluses and just work till you drop. So they grind away. Oh, thanks, Frosted. Hey, Kyle, how's it going, man? Let me pull that up. Did she get the whack? I think she probably died of overworking, quite honestly. Or maybe she did hurt herself. Damn it. Almost copied the wrong link. So, yeah, that's a real tragedy. 29 is really young. But I'm guessing that she probably had a heart attack or something like that, or medical thing. There's not a lot of drugs over in Korea because your ass is going to scary jail for a long time. You don't want to go to jail in Asia. Rehearse by day, make Nikes by night. Not too far off. Doing good. Got done building a Gundam model. Oh, cool. Could not do the Asian work ethic. I'm much too lazy. Yeah, I am too. It's amazing because, like in Japan, a lot of the husbands will go out and they'll work like a shift and a half, basically, at least 12 hours a day in the office and just work themselves to death. They have a very high suicide rate because of that. 23 hours solitary in Japan. Yeah, that's what I've heard, atheist. And the food is basically like a bowl of rice. If you're a Westerner, you do not want to go to jail in Japan because you'll probably die from malnutrition. You'll lose a ton of weight too, and not in a fun way. All right, let's go over to Bleeding Fool. Tobey Maguire reportedly wants to return as Spidey with Sam Raimi. I'm all for this. I think it's a good idea, as long as Raimi gets to control it, not the studios, because that's how we got Spider-Man 3. With Spider-Man No Way Home, the Marvel Cinematic Universe ushered in a new era of superheroes, cracking open the Marvel collection like never before, which now makes Spider-Man the first Marvel movie, by the way, because of the multiverse. This may contain spoilers if you haven't seen A No Way Home. How am I doing? I'm doing okay. I pulled a muscle in my sternum, and it's been bugging me because every time my pec moves, I can feel it. It just twinges kind of randomly. It's kind of painful. But otherwise, I'm good. One of the best places to go to jail in Asia is Japan, and it's terrible. Yes, exactly. You absolutely do not want to go to like the Bangkok Hilton. That is a scary ass place. Yeah, rice water and tofu in the water. Ugh. Buddy lost 30 pounds in Japanese prison over 3 months. Oh, I'm not surprised. He's lucky to be alive. Grandfather was imprisoned by the Japanese, but that was during the war. I bet that was even less fun. So he's kind of old at this point. Yeah, he's like my age. But yeah, it could be interesting. They could do some stuff. Jack pulling his muscle. Perv. Oh, no. I wasn't doing anything freaky. I'd tell you if I was. Was Spider-Man... Oh, yep, just read that. Let's see. Seeing Andrew Garfield and Maguire's versions of Peter Parker interact with Tom Holland was a match made in comic geek heaven. And let's not get carried away. Helping the film box set office records. I do think their presence made a lot of people go see it. And the way they introduced them was great. With several claims from Sony Pictures and Marvel Studio insiders about the future of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's renowned characters, let's not get carried away. Signs point to Maguire returning to the MCU in an upcoming series and potentially swinging in the notorious Spider-Man 4 that never was. Yeah, they did interview him about that 4 days before it was canceled. Spider-Man 4, 4 days before it was canceled. In a 2009 clip shared above, Maguire is seen discussing the future of Spider-Verse after Sony had just greenlit Spider-Man 4 for a 2011 release, highlighting that I love collaborating with him, Sam Raimi. I have fun with these movies, I do. However, that excitement was short-lived because in January 2010, Sony Pictures pulled the plug on the upcoming Marvel movie that was set to feature Anne Hathaway's Felicia Hardy, Black Cat, Dylan Baker's Kirk Connor's Lizard, and John Malkovich's Adrian Toomes Vulture. That would have been a great performance. Other reports have suggested Spider-Man 4 would have revealed that Peter's landlord, Mr. Ditkovich, played by Elia Baskin, was a retired Kraven the Hunter that would hunt him down. That would go down the path exploring the character. No, I think that would have been dumb. It would have been cool to have Kraven the Hunter in there, but that guy wouldn't have been great casting. So, yeah, this is a possibility. He does seem to want to do it. So, I think we might get an older Spider-Man story. That could be kind of cool, like a Batman Beyond kind of thing. Asian jails make Rikers looks like a Swedish prison. Yeah, absolutely. Got a Japanese bayonet from my grandfather brought back from World War II. Yeah, he probably pulled that from the cold, dead hand of a guy, too. Spider-Man Last Stand. Man, there's good stories you could tell with him being older, maybe having a kid with MJ, maybe, Spider-Girl story, where, like they did with the Juggernaut storyline they did with the Future Avengers, I think it was called. MC2, I think they called the line, because it was like Spider-Girl, J2, which was Juggernaut, and they did like Avengers Next or something with the little blonde Captain America girl that was Steve Rogers' kid. All right. Oh, here's one I jumped the gun on. From the Hollywood Reporter, Viacom, CBS, and Warner Media exploring the sale of the CW. CW is up for sale. Broadcast network home to shows like Batwoman and Walker is being shopped by its corporate owners. Multiple sources confirmed to the Hollywood Reporter. Wall Street Journal, which first reported the news, says the local TV giant Nexstar is among potential suitors. Nexstar, which owns 199 local TV stations, as well as the cable channel News Nation and The Hill, is one of the largest owners of the CW stations. It is immediately clear whether Viacom, CBS, and Warner Media plan to sell the entire network or retain minority stakes. News of the possible sale arrives as the network, a joint venture between CBS and Warner Media, has never been profitable since its formation in 2006, when the two companies merged the former UPN and WB network. Much of the revenue that is generated from the younger skewing network is generated from international and streaming sales for such scripted shows as The Flash and Dynasty. The CW previously had a long-standing output deal with Netflix that helped series like Riverdale and All American reach broader audiences and ultimately grow on linear. That pact ended in 2019 as Warner Brothers TV and CBS Studios shifted library deals to their respective streamers, HBO Max and Paramount Plus. Also impacted the profit margins on the originals is the fact that foreign sales have almost entirely ended as CBS Studios and Warner look to retain those rights for their respective streamers. The end of the Netflix output deal and loss of revenue from foreign sales created a larger concern for the studios who previously generated revenue not from linear but from Netflix and international sales. The CW, under CEO Mark Pedowitz, who ranks as the largest tenured broadcast topper, targets viewers 18 to 34 and offers originals available for free on its website and CW Seed. The network was originally designed to feature programming supplied 50-50 by Warner Brothers and CBS Studios, thanks in part to the successful DC universe, including The Flash, Superman and Lois, Batwoman, The Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow, among others. Warner's has been primarily supplier of content on the network. CBS Studios supplies scripted fare, including Dynasty, TV's lowest rated original, and Charmed, while other originals that are not based on either DC or CBS IP are co-produced between both studios. So if you guys are super rich, you could outbid Nexstar, because they own News Nation, which I didn't know that, but also the newspaper The Hill. So 199 local TV stations as well, but that's really not that impressive. I don't know if anyone's going to buy this. The M2. Thank you, Donald. Webb doesn't shoot out as easily as he used to. Sometimes he has failures. Yes, quite possibly, Giovanni. So yeah, CW's up for sale. That's because their shows are garbage, and it's a bunch of woke trash. If they had stuck to the Arrowverse being what it was in the first 4 or 5 seasons, probably would have been doing better. But they decided to get super woke. But I never really liked those shows, so what do I know? All right, let's jump over to everybody's favorite source of news, Pink News. Doctor Who praised for delicate handling of same-sex romance between Yaz and the Doctor. Now I know you're thinking, I don't remember seeing that. Well, it's because you haven't been watching the show, because it's trash. Doctor Who fans are ecstatic after the series essentially confirmed a same-sex romance between the 13th Doctor and her companion Yaz. What does this word mean? What's this essentially? Fans have long speculated or shipped that there might be feelings between the Time Lord, Jodie Whittaker, and Yasmin Yaz Khan, Mandip Gill. Even Gill said in a 2020 interview that she wholeheartedly was here for the Thasmin shippers and loved the idea that the character and the Time Lord could be romantically involved. Now the new episode titled Eve of the Daleks has made the relationship between Yaz and the Doctor a bit clearer. Did it though? In the episode, the Doctor, Yaz, and Dan, John Bishop, are stuck in a time loop with a Dalek executioner hot on their heels. During the years stranded in the time loop, Yaz and Dan become close friends, and Dan eventually notices that the police officer turned companion has secretly been harboring romantic feelings for the Doctor. Dan bluntly asks Yaz if she ever told her about her feelings, and Yaz responded by asking if her feelings are that obvious. He admits he figured it out during the 4 years he spent traveling the world with you. I don't know what to do, Dan, Yaz responds. I've never told anyone, not even myself. That's some great writing right there. Later in the episode, Dan prompts Yaz to confess her feelings and even outright tells the doctor how his friend feels. The Time Lord seemingly pretends not to understand Dan's clear message. Dan once again pleads for the two women to talk to each other. Maybe do a little scissor in action in front of him. I don't know. Needless to say that the on-screen acknowledgement of romantic feelings between the two characters and a potentially a future romance has had Doctor Who fans an absolute tizzy on social media. That didn't confirm jack shit. It confirmed one person has feelings for somebody else, not that it's reciprocal. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Fucking dumb. Other fans were struck by the heartfelt moment where Yaz opened up about her struggle to discover her sexuality. I've never told anyone. Oh, cry. Ugh, God. It's not easy for everyone to say, oh, yeah, I'm gay. It's often harder to admit to yourself than to other people. And I'm not sure this scene will mean a lot to many young people who watch Doctor Who. I'm sure this scene will mean a lot. No, it won't. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody's watching this show. Not even myself. You look like a puppet right there. Robbie DeSantos, Director of Communications and External Affairs at Stonewall, told Metro that it was fantastic for Doctor Who to feature a prominent storyline of an attraction between two women. You mean like every show on TV now? There have long been LGBTQ plus themes in the show in like the last 3 years, yeah. The storyline between Yasmin Khan and the Doctor is one of the most significant examples so far. What about when Jack Harkness kissed the Doctor? David Tennant. Huh? I think that was a little bit more LGBTQ than this. We can't be what we can't see. What? We can't be what we can't see? That's weird. And seeing same-sex attraction represented in one of our most popular TV shows, that's debatable, will delight viewers and mean so much to the people LGBTQ community across the country. No, it doesn't. This is a one-way relationship so far. That was a one-way relationship. And Whittaker's leaving the show. The Return of the Sea Devils was the episode before the final episode where she regenerates. So that's fucking dumb. That relationship is not going to be explored unless there's another female Doctor, which I suspect there won't be. I don't know, Jordan. I don't know how this is supposed to make any sense, because if the Doctor is able to shift between genders, then is it really gay? Oh, didn't know that, Rodline. Yeah, 10th Planet was a good serial too. Like how Amy Pond had feelings for her Doctor. Uh, yeah, but she that was like a love triangle kind of thing. Got a killer robot chasing you, what to do, make out with your companion. It's okay, everything else can wait. Yeah, there's no time to deal with that shit. We invented being gay. No, it's actually worse. It's a BBC production, Brent. Oh, Ginger, thank you for coming out as straight. It's trans, dun dun dun. Yeah, you're not wrong. A girl and a lizard girl already have a lesbian thing on Doctor Who. Yep, during the 12th Doctor. There's been way more obviously gay subtext in Doctor Who than this. This is lazy. Be a female Doctor. That one surprised me, Mr. Hugh. They're also not going to retcon the Timeless Child, which I think is really, really dumb, and it's going to kill the show. Yeah, Bad Wolf has taken over, and I think they're going to kill the show, because if they don't retcon that, the older fans aren't coming back. And this show's already bleeding viewers. So I think they're just going to let it go. I already figured out a way they could do it by saying Jodie Whittaker's Doctor and the Timeless Child were really the Valley Yard and not Doctor Who. But nobody listens to me, and nobody's going to fucking make any changes. So here we are. All right, before we go any further, if you want to support the show, like, share, and subscribe, or feel free to donate a couple of $1 dues at me. through the link going through your chat, also pinned at the top of your chat and in the description. What if you identify as someone who used to be the opposite gender? Would that make you trans? I don't know the rules anymore, Peter. Probably. Fucking dumb. All right, while we're on the topic of stupid shit, this one comes from Bounding Into Comics. Non-binary effigy, Teen Titans Academy recruit Stitch, outraged at being misgendered by Arsenal, lectures Teen Titans in new issue. Do you even hear yourselves? Oh, woke lecture books. Secular chick tracks, kids. One of the few notable points about the Teen Titans Academy series, 10 issues in, is one of the new recruits' very being breaks further from binary gender norms than any previous character. Oh, look, Gorilla Greg. That's an original character. Tubi. It's Kunta Kinte! Stitch has been around the Academy since the first issue when it came out last summer and has gotten a reputation for breaking the fourth wall the way Deadpool often does. But this isn't the biggest or strangest thing to be said for this creation of writer Tim Sheridan. Breaking the fourth wall is lazy at this point. It's been overdone. They did it with Ambush Bug, Impossible Man back in the 80s, and then Deadpool in the 90s. And now everybody fucking does it. She-Hulk's going to do it in the new She-Hulk series. The ragdoll-looking superhero, who is really just a knockoff of Ragman. And who's the one in Marvel? Sleeper, I guess. His training is actually a ragdoll brought to life by magic that is considered non-binary and genderqueer. If he's a ragdoll, he has no genitals and probably no... So non-binary might actually apply, but genderqueer, I don't get that. How can you be genderqueer and non-binary? Furthermore, they, as Stitch prefers, categorizes themselves as a non-binary effigy and a genderqueer quilted American, though Stitch doesn't believe they are American. So you're like some kind of magically animated androgynous ragdoll? Yeah, pretty much. The proper term, Matt, is non-binary effigy, though I prefer genderqueer quilted American. Just kidding, I'm not American. Can I have your apple? You don't have a mouth. Oh, that's what passes as quality writing, kids. Best 2021 DC has to offer. A protege of Dr. Fate? Why? Stitch is sent to the institution really known as the Roy Harper Titans Academy to learn how to be a hero, and they must feel they learned a thing or two because this newcomer, whose full origins are unclear, gets upset at Nightwing, the more experienced leader and former sidekick of Batman, for its plan to deal with another trainee. Teen Titans Academy 10 revolves mostly around a student named Dane, also known as Nevermore, who is headed down a dark path that may lead to Armageddon brought on by the Antichrist. He may have to be killed, but it's a worst-case scenario, which would mean the last resort when all options are exhausted. In fact, Stitch only finds out about this strategy after sneaking into the teacher's faculty room, where the character then lectures Arsenal for misgendering it. Arsenal bluntly says, "Can someone get her out of here? They are not going anywhere. You're talking about killing a kid." If Shazam is right. Billy. His name's Billy. You're Victor. He's Gar. She's Corey. We live in the same building. I can't believe you thought you could hide who you are from us. One more miscalculation from you Titans. Speaking of, Red X may be a murderer, but not Dane. Yeah. Of course, this kid's going to end up being correct about everything because they always are. It's just an avatar for the writer. From there, Stitch targets its anger at Raven and Wonder Girl and finally at Nightwing. Not yet. So are we handing out the death penalty for the stuff someone might do? Maybe. Way to defend Hitler, kid. Stitch, I know he's your friend, but we're not just talking about murder. We're talking about genocide. Every soul on the planet, and then in time, everyone in the universe may be worse. We're talking about ensuring the survival of all living things. But at what cost? Well, one life, apparently. Compared to the alternative, a relatively low one. Yep, that's called cost-benefit analysis. The living quill isn't having any of it, screaming, Wow, there it is. There's the problem. Oh, the lecture finger came out. Good thing his multicolored patches give him away. You're too old. You've been doing this so long, seen so much, paid so dearly that your baseline's changed. It's like they're realistic now. Is that what this job does to you? Because if it is, I don't want it. Bye. If killing a 14-year-old boy, a boy whose life has been entrusted to you, is low cost, then what about 2 lives? 3,000? What about me? Am I even alive, really? Well, you're annoying. Does that count? Does that make killing me an even lower cost? Probably. You are like a bundle of rags, so it'd probably be easier, too. The line you're talking about crossing shouldn't even be based on the severity of the threat. Hell, there shouldn't even be a line at all. There should be no chance of the Titans doing a heinous thing they know is wrong. I don't know. Saving the human race seems pretty good for them. Nightwing calmly responds, "We're just considering worst case alternatives, Stitch. We have a plan to subdue and isolate him. No one wants to hurt. No, nevermore." Dane, say his name. It's Dane. If you really want to consider this, you better have at least the guts to call him by his name, Dick. God, this is trash writing, and that art is not that good. Sorry, his neck looks really weird compared to the rest of his proportions. Maybe his arms are short. I don't know. So this is out now. Don't waste your money. Cover's pretty good, but no, this is trash. Don't spend $4 on this dog shit. It's they. I'm a non-binary gender queer puppet. Ugh. It's just another dumb new character. Charlie Dumb Morals. Why do they refer to them by the superhero names instead of Yeah, you call them their superhero names so you get in the habit of doing it so you don't reveal somebody's secret identity. But modern comic writers don't understand the whole point of a secret identity. They really don't. Doll gender, I am not clicking that link, Frosted. Nice try. Hello, Ice. I'd like to file a report. Yep, it's a lecture character. How about we turn you into a tampon? Oh, nice. So that's fucking dumb. All right, let's see here. All right, so we got gamers in the audience. Let's talk some gaming. Remember how a week or two ago we talked about they're taking slavery out of a couple of roleplay games, not just D&D, but also Pathfinder and some other garbage nobody cared about? Well, Bounding into Comics is reporting this. Psychology professor Chris Ferguson on campaign to remove slavery from tabletop roleplay games. I don't see any evidence that it will actually help anyone. Nice. In the wake of Paizo's publisher Eric Mona announcing the RPG will completely remove slavery from its popular tabletop RPG Pathfinder and raising calls to do the same to other pen and paper staples, noted psychology professor Christopher Ferguson opined that despite such censorious efforts professing to be done under the auspices of protecting players from confronting upsetting content, there's no evidence it will actually help anyone. I said that last week. Ferguson, who's a professor of psychology at Stetson University, expounded his feelings toward the ongoing debate in a Medium article published on January 2nd, beginning his piece with a note on the very real human history of slavery and a recap of recent events that led to Paizo's decision to wholesale drop the concept of slavery from Pathfinder before moving to ask the question that led him to write on the topic. Exactly what this removal entails from Pathfinder setting has been left a bit unclear, said the doctor of clinical psychology. The more interesting question for me is whether this kind of decision actually helps anyone. Moving to address the question, Ferguson stated, first, let's make an obvious distinction. If Pathfinder were portraying slavery as something that happened only to black people or portrayed slaves as happy or deserving their condition, this would be explicitly racist and deserving of condemnation. But this is not what Pathfinder has done. Indeed, slavery is portrayed as evil and brutal, he clarified. Role-playing systems are generally pretty open, allowing players a free range of choices of how to behave, but the core rulebook explicitly suggests players be prohibited from owning slaves or profiting from slavery. He then noted that individual games could theoretically ignore that, but in 40 years of playing RPGs, I've never seen a player express a desire to own a slave. I'll bet conceding, it's a big world out there. Of course, I can't say it never happens. Yeah, if you're playing an evil character, it'd be within motivation, I guess. Turning to common arguments leveled against those against the unnecessary, that's a great sentence. The unnecessary and virtue signaling changes being made to many TTRPGs, Ferguson argued, well, if you don't like the changes, you're free to not incorporate them in your own game. It cuts both ways. The official rules could have remained unchanged, but people were free to remove slavery entirely from their games as well. This really isn't an important argument. Undoubtedly, many folks make this argument would change their tune if the winds turned against them. He continued, the next more valid argument is, well, what's the harm in removing slavery from the game? If some people are upset by it, aren't their needs greater than those who are just in it for the role-playing? This raises two interesting questions, Ferguson noted. First, do the people advocating for change represent a consensus view? So, for instance, does the anonymous letter writer in Pazio's case represent a common or consensus view among Black players? And second, is there evidence that removing controversial material that isn't explicitly racist, sexist, etc., is helpful to players, whether combating racism or alleviating mental illness? Though he admitted that we don't have the data on this regarding Pathfinder's inclusion of slavery, Ferguson brought up how we do have data on a parallel controversy over evil monster races in role-playing games, citing a study of players and non-players from diverse backgrounds forthcoming from the journal Current Psychology, apparently conducted by the professor himself. I found that the belief evil orcs, a monster race, are offensive is a distinct minority view, including among people of color, he revealed. Further, no evidence emerged that playing Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder's main rival, and really the core of their rule set, was associated with racist attitudes in real life. This is only one study, of course, but in effect it suggests that advocates for woke changes in RPGs represent a minority view, and these changes have little actual practical value, which we've all been saying for a long time. Given the above, Ferguson informed his readers that while evidence is murky, that such changes would even be of any benefit to the aforementioned minority of players, what we have suggests that there are not only moves to remove content from games unlikely to help players who are anxious or traumatized, but in fact such moves may actually backfire, contributing to escalating mental health crises. The reason for this is pretty simple, he explained. Avoiding things that make us anxious, particularly when the triggering event is fairly subjective, hence my distinction between explicit racism and fighting slavery as heroes, can actually increase anxiety and neuroticism rather than lessen it. It's also going to make people more neurotic when they actually do encounter these things because they haven't been numb to it. Ferguson then proposed that such concerns were emblematic of the concept of safetyism, or the tendency for society to shield people from all adverse stimuli, even when confronting that adverse stimuli might build resilience and character. Exactly. Pointing to how a book on the subject by Greg Lukakoff and Jonathan Hiddey titled Coddling the American Mind, How Good Intentions and Bad Ideas Are Setting Up a Generation for Failure, connected safetyism to increasingly poor mental health. Ferguson stated that he found their arguments compelling. We can see data for this in academia, for instance, where evidence is now clear that trigger warnings tend to increase anxiety in students rather than decrease anxiety. Role-playing games are only a small part of this, but like many left spaces, the increasing obsession with catering to outrage and anxiety may be contributing to a vicious cycle rather than actually improving matters for anyone. He also argued that the issue of outrage also played a role in the regular formation of some such backlash campaigns, noting that for the past decade we've become mired in an escalating cycle of outrage on both left and right, and critiques that don't fit the narrative are met with ad hominem. You're just a bigot, Nazi snowflake, etc., or moral grandstanding. Much of this comes from whipping up mobs on social media, particularly when companies such as Pazio forget that Twitter mobs don't represent a societal consensus. The problem with caving to outrage is that it merely incentivizes more outrage. This is a pretty basic psychological concept. Reward behavior and you get more of it. Exactly. That's shit art. It really is. There's also a broader social... Damn. There is also a broader societal concern that by cleansing fantasy realms of what have been a near universal human sin, we reduce our options of grappling with those realities, particularly in settings where slavery is presented as an unqualified evil. Ferguson continued. The topic, by nature unpleasant, but slavery remains a part of reality in many parts of the world today, whether Uyghur genocide camps in China or forced labor throughout the world. I'm not sure removing it from fictional realms benefits our awareness of this troubling phenomenon. Preach. Wow. As his piece drew to an end, Ferguson affirmed, I do believe Pathfinder's decision was done in good faith, but I don't see evidence it will actually help anyone. The problematizing movement coming from the woke left is likely doing more harm than good, even to the communities they ostensibly are speaking for. Ultimately, role-playing companies will benefit from understanding that the loudest voices are not always reflecting a community consensus, and that the road to hell is often paved with good intentions. Yeah, this guy's fucking great. So, yep, no real evidence to support this is going to affect anything in a positive way. It's just going to hurt their sales and business. So there's the article if you guys want to go look at the Medium one. The link is in there. Oh, we have human trafficking, and there's still some slavery. It's just all underground stuff. You go over to places like Yemen, it's done out in the open. Yeah, Frosted, that was they did a 4-part series of that against the slave lords in D&D back in late 70s, early 80s. And yeah, it's been roundly kind of ignored. And it'll probably not be reprinted now because of this bullshit. But yeah, you used to be able to kill slavers all the time in D&D. And even in Pathfinder, you could do that. But no, it's not good enough. They want no mention of it. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, let's talk about the title of the stream. We kind of touched on this last week. It's from Bounding. Marvel's Timeless introduces Miricleman to 616, hints at upcoming death of Captain America. Now, if you haven't read Timeless, it's a $6 one-shot that's been actually flying off the shelf. A lot of speculators are going after this one. So, oh, that's huge. Oops. There we go. Speculators have been grabbing this one up because of articles like this. But effectively, here's the cover. It's a Kang story. And we'll just cut to the chase. Here's some hints of upcoming storylines. You got Ben Reilly's Spider-Man. You got Frank Castle here with his stupid new logo. There's hints Mary Jane's going to be taking over as Spider-Man. Then Girl Vengers. And the death of Captain America again. And I think they are going to kill Cap. The speculation's been running wild. This is part of the reason. It's also technically probably the first appearance of this as well. But speculators have been snapping this up because of the potential death of Captain America. But they've been speculating that this is going to be a big deal because it's pretty obvious Marvel doesn't know what to do with Captain America because they kind of hate America over there. And Miricleman coming over there, that's been in the works since like 2013. They've owned the character since then. What the origins for Miricleman are pretty simple. When Fawcett closed down, the reprints of Captain Marvel stopped. And those were how a company over in Great Britain were really making their money. So they created Marvel Man. And then that eventually became Miricleman. And then Alan Moore took over writing it. And it's a really dark book because it was originally Injustice. That's where the idea for Injustice really spawns from. is Miricleman was this superhero who said the word atomic backwards and gained his powers. Well, he just became a dictator, and all the superheroes ended up becoming world rulers. Oh, welcome on board, Ryan. I'm glad they got around to notifying you. Jesus, James. Mr. Miracle, Miricleman. Yes, I would agree with that. Mr. Miracle is way cooler. He's got better costume, too. So let's see. We're only going to do a few more articles, but we're going to hit on some important stuff. I don't want to go too much over 2 hours because my throat's starting to hurt. So you know how Wizards of the Coast has been basically being woke fucktards lately? Well, get ready for that to spread like a virus into Hasbro. This comes from ICV2. Wizards of the Coast president to run Hasbro. Chris Cox becomes CEO on February 25th. Wizards of the Coast president Chris Cox has been appointed Chief Executive Officer of parent Hasbro and will join the board of directors, the company announced after close on Wednesday. Cox will take on his new position on February 25th, replacing CEO Rich Stoddart, who was appointed after the October death of longtime Hasbro CEO Brian Goldner. Stoddart will become chairman of the board. Somebody's apparently paying attention at WOTC's growth and profitability has been dominating Hasbro's numbers. That's largely due to the pandemic. I think that's going to drop quite a bit. In Q1 2020, WOTC's segment accounted for 75% of Hasbro's total profits. The video game background of Cox, who took over WOTC from Greg Leeds in 2016, may have been appealing to the board, which is looking to expand exploration of its properties in gaming and entertainment. Chris's extensive omni-channel experience and proven track record make him the ideal leader for Hasbro as it continues to become the world's leading play and entertainment company. Current Hasbro board chair Tracy Leinbach said of the appointment, a storyteller and gamer at heart, Chris innately understands how to create and nurture brands to drive fan and consumer connection across channels. Yeah, that's why their quality has sucked balls at Magic for like the last 8 years. That's why their cards fold up. Yeah, okay, dude. In related news, Eric Newman, current Hasbro Chief Consumer Officer and COO of Hasbro Consumer Products, will become Hasbro President and Chief Operating Officer. A new president for Wizards of the Coast will be named in the coming weeks. So get ready for more low-end stuff and more woke changes. This guy's been the one overseeing the androgyny in the art, the lack of masculinity and femininity in Magic the Gathering, and all the woke stuff in D&D. So get ready that to spill over into other Hasbro products. And I don't think Wizards has been doing that great for these guys. Well, are halflings really worth loving? Are they capable? So that was big news. Yeah, he is the Charlie Kirk, not Charlie Kirk, the Nick Fuentes face. Let's see. Oh yeah, here's a cool toy set that's coming out. Now I don't know if any of you guys have like small kids in your house. Oh hey, Keeper Dam. But if you do, Playmobil toys have gotten a lot cooler in the last few years. They've been doing a lot of licensed stuff, and they're pretty high quality. But the new set has blown my mind. Playmobil Knight Rider kit set is up for pre-order. Check it out. A Playmobil Knight Rider set. Playmobil is going deep into the 80s once again with the debut of the 70924 Knight Rider KITT vehicle set. The 3-inch scale Pontiac Trans Am vehicle features lights and sounds, headlights that go up and down, a rotating license plate, and a removable hood. It also includes figures for Bonnie Barstow, Devin Miles, and Michael Knight. Playmobil did a great job at the details, just like they did with the recent James Bond Aston Martin Goldfinger edition car. The A-Team van set, $89 each. I'd totally buy that A-Team van. But I would probably want to get this more because I loved Knight Rider as a kid. Pre-orders for the Knight Rider kit are available here at Entertainment Earth for $90, set for shipping in August 2022. Right away, Michael. The most famous talking car of the 80s is back with the Playmobil 70924 Knight Rider kit with figures complete with Bonnie Barstow, Devin Miles, and Michael Knight. This set once again proves our theory that Germans love David Hasselhoff. The Germans own Playmobil. Complete with lights and sound, the 3-inch scale vehicle includes articulated figures you can move around or have around to pretend to repair the chatty Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Headlights go up and down too. On a related note, Playmobil recently took on Lego and some of the massive Star Wars sets in their Ultimate Collector Series lineup with the 70548 Star Trek USS Enterprise NCC 1701 playset. It's been touted as the biggest, most deluxe Playmobil playset created up to this point. It also has a price tag to match. However, you can order one at Entertainment Earth for $424.99. That's 15% off with free U.S. shipping as part of their New Year's sale. And that does look badass. You've got engineering down here. You got the bridge. That looks pretty fucking cool. So if you want any of the cool Playmobil stuff, there you go. They've got a lot of licensed stuff now, and they're really nice quality. They had some... I was out of this little mom and pop shop that features like homeschool kids stuff the other day, and they had a bunch of Playmobil display stuff. It's really nice quality. Way better than it was in the 70s, but they got all this cool license stuff. Mr. Feeney. So, yeah, I thought this was awesome. And I'm looking forward to seeing this come out. So, yeah, the Star Trek stuff looked really cool, too. They had some other license that was really good. They used to just have, like, generic company, like, things like Vikings and, like, Garbage Men, stuff like that. They still have all that stuff, but they have so much more now, too. So, yeah, they have, like, city action. Here, I'm just going to put this on the screen real quick. Sorry, I should have read that super chat before I sent it to Monkey. Oh, I don't know. Is Monkey live? I don't even know what's going on. So, yeah, they've got these cool city action ones where, like, boats and stuff. There all sorts of different themes. These garbage trucks are actually really cool. If I was a kid, I'd want one. But now they have the Star Trek stuff. Let's see. There's the Enterprise. So it's got the full bridge. Then it's got engineering. See, we got functional lights and everything. USB charger for the lights. And it's actually pretty big. Look at that. Although I don't believe these two would hang out with this douchebag man bun boy. These two are obviously classy people playing with the Enterprise, and that guy's like, I'm your friend, right? I wouldn't do that at $500. I'm not hanging that thing up. They had some Ghostbuster stuff too, I think. But there's the A-Team. How sweet is that? 80s kids, you should appreciate this. Oh, you can move these? Oh, that's awesome. I love it when a plan comes together. That's pretty fucking cool. Oh, yeah, it's even got a little equipment in here, gun rack and a big flashlight. That's awesome. Mr. T can work on his van. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, yeah, they've got some really cool licensed stuff. I didn't know a lot about this, but Yeah, I guess they have some pretty good licenses. And their stuff has gotten way cooler. It's really expensive now. Oh, Back to the Future and Scooby-Doo as well. There's Ghostbusters. So yeah, they have different play sets. They've got the building here, Ecto 1. This one's only $100. So yeah, you can have a lot of fun with this. If I was a kid, I'd love this shit. I had some Playmobil stuff as a kid, but in the 70s, it was like, here's some knights and some random city workers. They didn't have licensed stuff like this. This is way cooler. Comes with 5 figures. And they had some other sets too. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. There's even a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So there you go. I don't know, Mr. Hugh, but the plane would have to come with a sleeping Mr. T and a glass of milk for them to taint. I also enjoyed that one, Frosted. I pity the foo. Oh yeah, Monkey's taking the night off. Yeah, he did tell me that. That's cool. We all have do the original V series. Oh my god, if they did one of the shuttles, I would fucking sell plasma to buy that. Oh, thank you, Evolved Potato. I bought myself this really cool looking board game the other day called Escape from Site 19, based off SCP. Looks great, and since it's more of an adult game, there might be a mechanic designed around drinking, so that's nice. Oh, that's cool. There was a game on, I think it's on Kickstarter. Hold on, let me pull it up, because this looked really cool. And remember, if you want to fight the power with against WOTC, be sure and side with TSR. They're suing Wizards of the Coast over trademark. That link is in the description, and they do need the financial help. Yeah, here we go. So I just found out about this. Unfortunately, it's only got 5 days left. But this is a 1 to 4 player game based on Silent Night, Deadly Night. The official board game. This looks really cool. I don't know who this guy is, but he apparently got the license to this. He also co-wrote the motion picture Phantom of the Mall, which is a classic, as well as episodes of Friday the 13th, the series, Rugrats, and Hardcastle and McCormick. So, pretty legit. $35, and there are 4 stretch goals currently unlocked. So, they've been revealing different parts of the map. It's fun. So, the board game will feature 5 brand new illustrations from Billy's famous kills in the original movie, and will revealing Rampage through the game. So they've got the first 4 revealed so far, but the 5th one hasn't been revealed yet. It's a double-sided board. The drinking game option with blood-splattered snow. So one of the options for this as add-ons is here, let me get down to it. They unlocked metal weapons like Clue style, and a Kickstarter exclusive deluxe foil treatment, which is cool. A dice glass, and this is the last one. Oh, that's just got unlocked today. The bag for the dice to keep your pieces in. Optional add-ons include 4 new characters plus some cards and a shot glass set for the drinking game version. I thought that was funny. So yeah, if you're interested in drinking games, this one has a mechanic built in. So it's only $35. So I thought that was kind of cool. It'd probably be another $15-20 to ship it in the States. I don't know about overseas, but it'd be worth looking out for that one. So if you're interested in that, it's Garbage Day. I love that movie in a sheerly it's so dumb it's fun kind of way. -4, the wind chill's -15. Fuck that. That's why I'm inside. Dollman's a great fucking movie. It is. It is. Dollman versus Demonic Toys was dumb fun too. So yeah, I was checking that out earlier. I was actually looking at my emails for a Kickstarter that I did back, which I'm not going to mention on air. And they sent me that link as one of the suggested, like, you should consider this one. Burr, burr, burr. I was like, oh, what's all this then? All right. Let's see what else we got here. Save that one for next week. All right. Let's laugh at D&D a little bit more. And we got a couple articles left. This works out as Dollman next. Maybe. I don't know. That'd be cool. Oh, hang on. Oh, Full Moon Entertainment was great. I watched a lot of their movies, like an unhealthy amount. And I liked most of them. I've got a few of them on VHS still around. Dungeons & Dragons Disability Representation, the focus of Limitless Heroic Supplement. There is a barbarian in a wheelchair. Rah! My battle chair. My battle chair. This one's got a prosthetic. I don't know what her problem is. Probably being fat. This is for inclusive campaigns. Oh boy. Oh, it's this chick again. This is from Dicebreaker. Create, run, and play campaigns of D&D 5e featuring characters with disabilities, neurodivergence, and mental illness using limitless heroics. I want to buy this for all the wrong reasons. A supplement for fantasy role-playing game. For the fantasy role-playing game, Limitless Heroics, including characters with disabilities, mental illness, and neurodivergence in 5th edition, enables players to create characters who have symptoms that may affect various aspects of their lives. Featuring over 450 symptoms of disabilities, neurodivergence, and mental illness. So this should be a Call of Cthulhu supplement. Limitless Heroics is intended to support greater representation and understanding within the tabletop game industry and community. I'm pretty sure this release date is wrong. All right, players and Dungeon Masters will be able to reference the real-world examples. I would love to read their description of what actual real-world mental illnesses is, because I bet it's 100% wrong. Featured within the supplement to help them better represent their character symptoms within the role-playing game, alongside tutorials that discuss why and how these symptoms should be represented within D&D 5e. Players will be able to select from symptoms included within the supplement, as well as an online generator, which have been written using the experiences of dozens of people with diverse symptoms to ensure that representatives are accurate and sensitive. I question this, and I am definitely not doing this. Okay. The symptoms labeled featured within the supplement will help players and DMs to select their character symptoms, as well as how often and strongly they manifest. What if you're an otherkin? Limitless Heroics also include almost 100 magical items that are designed to assist those with symptoms to pursue their various quests and adventures more easily. The creative team behind Limitless Heroics supplement is made up of writers, editors, and artists with disabilities, neurodivergence, and or mental illness or chronic illnesses, like stupidity. Limitless Heroics is set to be published by Wormworks Publishing, a studio that's dedicated to improving the representation of disabilities, neurodivergence, and mental illness within the tabletop community, industry and community. The Kickstarter campaign is set to be launched on January 4th. Oh, it's already going, with pledge amounts to be confirmed. Oh, let's look at it, shall we? No, they don't understand mental illness at all. And that's what's disgusting about this, is they are slapping everyone with actual mental illness in the fucking face. And I find that repulsive. Having worked with people with severe mental health issues, this is fucking repulsive to me. That's why I'm going to mock them forever. Because these people are degenerate parasites that will destroy anything in their path, including the trans community, the mental health community, the gay community, anything in their path. And they are winning the culture war. All right, here we go. They've already got their goal. 19,000 of a $10,000 goal, 494 backers, 26 days to go. So let me just, some of you may want to back this. I don't know. I'm not gonna. I'll buy it used off of, at a half price books for like $5 in 5 years. All right, so let's see what we're looking at here. $1, whatever. $25, you get the audio version and a dyslexia-friendly PDF. It's written backwards. You get the PDF and a discounted print-on-demand version. For $75, you get the print-on-demand version and your name as on an assistive magic item. Ooh, that's stupid. And then a retail version. And then there's a $200 version. You get all that plus your character in the book. And for $500, all that plus a deluxe created character in the book. Wow. 5 people have already backed that. A limit of 50. 8 people have backed the get your character in the book bit. Nobody backed the retail version. 42 at the $75 rate, so they could get an object named after them. And 244 at the Warlock Pledge. All right, so you've got 450 symptoms, plus some fantasy symptoms, because that's what you should expect in a world with magic, with 4 severity degrees and 6 frequencies, with 1 to 6 symptoms per character or more. That's 64,800 combinations with the options to add more. Okay, let's read their sample one. Blindness. Oh, this is a PDF. Delightful. Delightful. Let's see. Your vision's impaired to the point it can't be corrected. I can barely fucking read this on my monitor. You learn to navigate the world, magical assistance, assistive options. Oh, this is boring. They should have given me something fun like you itch because you think spiders live under your skin. 78 random tables to choose or generate your symptoms, their degree, severity, and frequency. 93 new magic items and an online random generator for thousands more. Nearly every symptom includes mundane and magical assistive items. Braces of Blade? Alright, that sounds fucking dumb. Blade didn't have braces, he had fangs. We're doing it live. Item. They're leg braces. These silvered leg braces function as normal leg braces, but can extend and retract blades from the sides with a free action, allowing you to swing your legs as an attack while balancing on crutches. Treat as an unarmed attack, causing 1d6 plus original strength modifier slashing damage. Wouldn't your leg be right there? 4 new monster stat blocks because sometimes the disability or assistive device is a creature. 3 new spells because sometimes assistance comes from a spell book. Only 3 new spells? What about Cure Blindness? Pretty sure that's in the player's handbook. Thousands of real-world examples. Tutorials. Opening articles discuss, that's not a sentence, how and why to implement these options, how to discuss it with your players, and common tropes to avoid. You have all the tools here to run an inclusive campaign. We also have a free random generator to create thousands of new magic items. Talk to dozens of people with diverse symptoms to make sure game mechanics represent their bullshit experience. Book accessibility, dyslexia-free layout. fully screen reader accessible. I think that just means full screen. Indexed audio version included with every purchase. That's actually pretty cool. Real world benefits. We believe that that this resource will help normalize disabilities in your life and the lives of other players. Non-disabled people can sometimes feel uncomfortable around disabled people and don't know how to talk or act. This resource allows you to practice in an imaginary world to equip you with empathy and skills. Good luck with that. To feel increasingly comfortable doing that in the real world. More like, I'm tired of moving your wheelchair up and down the hundreds of flights of stairs in this dungeon. And those with disabilities now have a way to represent their experience in game. The whole point of fantasy roleplay game is to get away from the real world. I don't want to be a fat dork sitting at a table in game 2. To feel empowered and help other people see them more clearly. Imagine what we could communicate to the world when all the actual play Twitch streams include disabled characters. Ugh, this is a movement. It's more than an RPG book. It's a petition. Back this project that you communicate to every game publisher on Earth that disabled people exist and can easily be included in their games. That the customers want that representation, that accessibility and representation are necessary core features for future products, because nothing says survival in the Middle Ages like a cripple. Imagine companies and organizations seeing the success of this movement beyond the RPG community and how that would affect their decision in the future. Imagine how you, as an RPG player who work in every industry, can work for change to overcome ableism because of what you and players learn while roll dice at the RPG table. Once you push us over our goal, we get this book in your hands. We'll make it available through other distributors at a higher price. Okay. But the overwhelming success of this campaign will speak volumes to the world. And when you back it, you will forever get to say you were part of it. So there's the pledge tiers. Let's see if they have any bonuses and what the add-ons are. Stretch goals. Here we go. Complications and prosthetics. Once we hit the $25,000 goal, they're almost there. We will add additional complications and magical prosthetics. Some experiences are not symptoms of various conditions, but complications that result from them, such as infections, concussions, secondary depression, and intoxication. D&D used to have rules for intoxication, and infection usually is covered under poison. Once we hit the goal, we will add 20 complications to the book and 20 magical prosthetics. 30,000, they'll add 10 NPCs that'll drag down the party like an anchor. 40,000, the glass painter's daughter. They'll include a one-shot adventure, which explores the concepts in an adventure environment. That sounds horrific. At 50,000, you get service animals, because nothing says D&D like a seeing eye dog or your comfort llama. 100+ character book at 100,000, so you get an extra book. I don't think they're going to make that, but whatever. Extra magic item. The core book contains 96 assistive magic items and spells. If we get more than 96 backwards at wizard level or above, which I think they already did. Wizard level is a $75 one. They're only at 42. 42 plus what? 8? Yeah, so they're at 50. They're halfway there. They'll or above will create magic items and spells for the book to accommodate the additional interest. It's being printed through Drive-Thru RPG, which is usually pretty cheap, so it's probably only paperback and not hardcover. Content trigger warning, way at the bottom. That's brilliant. She looks pissed. Like, who peed in her Cheerios? Sensitivity consultant, that's a real job. Another sensitivity consultant, that's her only job. You look like a real happy camper. This chick doesn't have a job, neither does this person. It's a chick, apparently. She knows that she's a pretty one. You're lonely. You look like a dude I used to game with. A non-binary, best-selling RPG writer and creator. Full-time nerd. Okay. No other important shit. All right, so yeah, that's the limitless heroics, because the crippies need to. Animal companions are already a thing, yeah, but they can't walk you around. Service animals, service dragon. I changed my mind. I'm backing it. Sadly, I don't think that's going to be in there. So, land sharks for the win. Yeah, that would be sweet. No, look, there's obviously an audience for this because they've already got enough money rounded up. But I don't think this is going to really be big with actual hardcore gamers, unless they're playing it as a joke. But if it's something you're interested in, I did drop the link. If you're one of those people that's really into shit like that, so there you go. That's the latest in the diversity triangle of sadness that seems to be RPGs. Let me file that one away for future reference, and we'll check in on it again sometime. All right, let's see. All right, let's we're not gonna cover the Superman butt sex thing because I think everybody's covered that pretty well, and I'm tired of it. It's stupid. They implied Superman got ass pounded while being held captive, and it's really fucking stupid. It goes over his trauma. I'll drop the link if anybody wants to read it, but I really don't want to cover it. The Stairmaster. All right, so yeah, let's move that up. I'm tired of that one. It's dumb. All right, let's talk about this article Frosted gave me. And we'll do one article after that, and we'll wrap it up. Lance Skaven with the Seeing Eye Wolf Rat. I have a Seeing Eye Warg. Knights of the Old Republic tries to hide its queer horror. It's from Nora Blake at Medium. It's Medium, so you know it's going to be good. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is a BioWare game that tells the story of a ragtag group of allies who join and potentially fall in love with the incredibly charismatic blank slate player character. Together, the crew of Ebon Hawks strike out in search of the edge of the Republic, needs to win their war with the Sith Empire. It's pretty straightforward until the catch. The player character is actually a former Sith Lord named Revan, whose memory and powers are stripped from them just prior to the start of the game. Revan was portrayed by their apprentice, Darth Malak, and left for dead. Dun, dun, dun. The revelation that your player character used to be a Sith Lord occurs at the end of the second act, after you've explored several planets and gathered a crew of loyal friends. Spoiler alert, in your first confrontation with the game's antagonist, Darth Malak reveals that the Jedi captured Revan when they were grievously injured. Because you could probably play as male or female. While they mended Revan's body, they opted not to mend their mind. Instead, they planted a new personality and a new set of memories of their own creation, turning Darth Revan, Dark Lord of the Sith, into a loyal Republic soldier. That doesn't sound very Jedi-like. The first time I read about Darth Revan, I was enamored. Here was something completely new in Star Wars. Revan was a fascinating villain with nuance and depth that at the time I wasn't able to see in film. Characters like Darth Vader. It took me a few years to actually think about the implication of Revan's experience. However, looking back on this game as a recently realized trans woman, oh dear God. All I could see when I look at Revan is a victim, not a villain. The victim of a fate more grim than Darth Vader's. They lost their name, their dead name. All of the details of Revan's loss, this piece struck with me the most vividly. Revan was a war hero, known to many in the galaxy for their military expertise. When they went against the wishes of the Jedi Council and took up arms in the Mandalorian War, they chose the name of Revan for themselves. For themselves would have made more sense. Likewise, their companion Alec took the name Malak. After the war, when they chased the remnants of the Mandalorians into uncharted space and there fell to the dark side, they kept those names. Even after taking on the title of Darth, cutting off the life they had lived and the allegiances they had sworn, they refused to give up their names. Names are very important to me. It took me a long time to find mine. and it's still a constant struggle to get people, even family members, to use it. I can't even imagine having my name stolen like Revan's was. Just thinking about it makes my skin crawl. And then I went to Shelbyville to buy a new shoe because my right one got stuck in a mud pit, and we jumped on the skippity doo, which is what we called trolleys in those days. What the fuck does this have to do with anything? It gets worse. Not only does Revan lose their identity, they're given a new one, a new subservient history fabricated by the Jedi to serve as a tool. They send you to follow in Revan's footsteps to learn what they discovered before the war, hoping your subconscious will steer you true. But Revan was a person. HK-47, your assassin droid party member, recalls at one point that Revan found the phrase meatbag amusing, and so programmed HK to refer to sentience as meatbags. We don't see a lot of characterization when it comes to Revan, so this moment stood out to me. Revan had a sense of humor. Did he, or did he just hate meatbags? They weren't a monster, weren't they? They were a Sith, and they weren't evil for its own sake. That kind defines a Sith. This is one of the reasons it's hard for me to see them purely a villain. That's called depth. This game, however, doesn't really want you to look at Revan as a victim. Once during the initial reveal, I was given the option to rescue Bastila, the party member responsible for Revan's loss of using me. No, Revan, not you. I was not, however, allowed to bring up the fact that she helped in erasing Revan's mind and then proceeded to pretend to be my friend and comrade for months. Bastila is the first Jedi you meet, and much of your Jedi training montage early on in the game features the two of you training and learning together, being friends even. But the game didn't want me to think about that. There are precious few opportunities to Revan to express the betrayal that I felt would be appropriate. Like what, you're going to kill them with their lightsaber there, Darth Evil? Losing their memories reset Revan to a neutral moral state, wiping clean the corruption of the dark side from their body. All of a sudden, without choice or remorse, they are redeemed. Imagine the existential horror of realizing that your memory is all that determines who you are. Imagine learning that every last shred of your identity can be torn away from you by the people who claim to protect the galaxy. Is this going to be some anti-cop shit? Onion, which is the fashion at the time. Exactly, Frosted. This moron's a tool. I doubt she even played the game. I think she watched videos of playthroughs. Now imagine all that, knowing that the identity that was stolen took you years to embody. Remember, this guy was evil, right? This Revan person was evil. Weren't they a Sith? They probably murdered lots of innocent people that you fought all your life to find yourself, and then someone else came along and forced you into becoming who they want you to be instead. Revan isn't allowed to think about this. It's a fucking video game, not a real person. More often, your choices fit into two categories. Either Revan sees this as an opportunity for redemption and liberation from their past transgressions. Oh, there's the word trans. That means it's good, right? Or they see this as a brief delay in their journey to gain power and immediately seek to reclaim their mantle of Dark Lord of the Sith. You know, it's a video game, right? They can only put so many options in there, but they're never really allowed to see it as the atrocity it is, much less even approach the idea of processing what would be an immense trauma. Oh, trauma. Buzzword. KOTOR provides the player a decent amount of narrative agency as long as these choices don't lead too close to an examination of Revan's character, who's probably a violent psychopath, as they join the dark side. Much like Commander Shepard from BioWare's later Mass Effect games, each player has their own Revan and their own characterization. My Revan is a trans woman. What? My Revan embraced the dark side not only out of cruelty, but out of a desire to declare and revel in their own identity. If the game allowed for more than two endings, my Revan would have struck down the Sith, but I just can't see how she could ever trust the Jedi or work with them again. I'm still hung up on Revan's a trans woman. You're inserting a lot of you into this game. I know I would never be able to. I've gone through so much of my own life to claim my name and my identity. This isn't about you. This is about a fictional game character, you fucking weirdo. I can't imagine losing everything I am. My red lightsaber, the deaths I caused, the beautiful sight of their eyes as the light faded from it. Jesus Christ, something wrong with you. Everything I fought for in the final confrontation with Darth Malak, he says he'd rather die than go through what happened to Revan. For once, I found myself agreeing with him. God, this person's a fucking idiot. What? Transformed a collection of anxieties prompted by mass. Okay, that's something else. This is dumb. This is really, really dumb, Frosted. And I would send you to the corner, but I live in a circular house. How's that? He was evil and they let him live. Those bastards. They should have killed him. Yeah, they didn't pay any attention to the game. I don't believe they actually played this game. This is fucking dumb. This is stupid. This person that wrote this is a moron. And they made a video game character into a trans character for some reason. All right, we got one more article. But before that, I need to shill again. Now, if you're watching the stream and you're enjoying what you're seeing, hit the like button, share it on your social media, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. If you'd like to support the channel, you can drop some money in the Streamlabs link that I just put in the chat, which is also pinned at the top of the chat and in the description, along with other ways you can support me. I think the merch store is in there as well, and the Patreon. So, as always, thank you guys for coming out and watching the show. I do greatly appreciate that. All right, let's look at our last article. This is from Bounding. DC Comics writer Vita Ayala expresses her bigotry, says no cis dudes should apply for associate editor position at Marvel. DC Comics writer says no cis dudes should apply for a job at Marvel. Vita Ayala is allegedly non-binary and one of the most boring writers in comics today. Easily outpacing anything we've seen previously, like Mags, what's her name? Mags at least had some talent. Vita is one of the seriously most boring comic writers I've ever read. I actively have put comics aside and not read them because I saw that name on there. Like, no, I don't want this. She always insert they, I don't fucking know. She always inserts her political nonsense into her comics, and she's one of the ones guilty of having people stand around yapping all the time and doing nothing and just blathering for pages at a time. It's really boring. DC Comics writer Vita Ayala, who is currently writing Nubia in the Amazons, Wonder Woman, and Batman Urban Legends, expressed her bigotry when she declared that no cis dudes should apply for an associate editor position at Marvel. Nubia is a good character that's been ruined in the last couple of years. It's a real shame, too. They're just destroying DC. Ayala's comments came in response to former Marvel.com writer Angelina Roche sharing a link to an associate editor position at Marvel.com. The job description, which has now been removed from Disney's website, stated Marvel Entertainment is seeking a pop culture expert to join Marvel Digital Media in the role of an associate editor. Responsible for the creation and curation of content on Marvel.com, the associate editor must be an expert in the Marvel Universe with deep knowledge of Marvel characters across comic books, video games, and more, in addition to the larger universal fandom. If they hired people like that, they wouldn't have a problem like they do at Marvel with shit writing. The former New Mutants and Champions writer at Marvel responded to Roche tweeting, "Black and brown people, especially femme people, please apply." In a follow-up tweet, Ayala wrote, "The fact that people are angry that I tweeted that black and brown people should apply and call it racism is funny and sad at the same time. I hope they figure themselves out soon because they are only telling on themselves with that nonsense." Well, you're a shit writer, so it's no wonder people misunderstood your stupid tweet. However, Ayala would make her bigotry and prejudice against cis dudes clear in a separate tweet when she wrote, "Black and brown people, queer people, people that are not cis dudes, and any combination of the above. If you are even a little curious about being an associate editor at Marvel, click through. Apply, you are needed, she asserted. I think they have plenty of woke bullshit over at Marvel. In a moment of sheer irony, Ayala then accused her critiques of bigotry while doubling down on her own. She tweeted, "Bigots loathe the idea of black and brown people." No, they don't. "Queer people and non-cis dude people and any intersection of the above for this job. They're extra despise that I am an Afro, Puerto Rican, trans, non-binary person who works in the industry." How can you be trans non-binary? I don't understand that. If you don't fit into either category, how are you transitioning between the two? I'm encouraging the above to apply. Nobody cares that you're Afro-Puerto Rican or trans or non-binary. Nobody gives a shit because nobody thinks about you. Nobody cares. So yeah, she's just showing what kind of person she is. She's a small-minded little bigot who doesn't like straight white men. Should you come up with a woke way of saying you're normal? I don't like her. She's a bad person. Yeah, she's a bitch. Irish need not apply. Exactly. She's a very unlikable person who thinks she's very, very talented because she is effectively a token. She's not very good. Her sales are awful. And she's very full of herself because she's the flavor of the month. And they give people like that a lot of work. She worked at Valiant for a long time, and then those sales fell apart. So she jumped over to Marvel for a little while. Those sales fell apart. Those books got canceled. And she just hops around playing her card. And eventually that train ride ends because eventually your sales do matter. And if you're a handful like this, they don't want you around. People don't care about your race. They care that you're racist. Exactly. And she doesn't like white people. It's been pretty obvious. That's my interpretation of what I've seen of her writing and her statements on the internet. All right, well, that's all I had for now. I've seen reviews of Nubia. She is bad. Yeah, she's terrible. If you ever get a chance, I think she did Livewire for Valiant, and that was one of the most stereotypical joke books I've ever seen. It hit all the markers. Shaved side of the head, dyed hair. Friends were the Burger King Kids Club. It's fucking pathetic. She has the same stick every time. It's a bunch of woke talking points interwoven with a very, very loose story and a whole bunch of padding. It's almost tragic because people are pushing her up so much and giving her work that she doesn't actually grow as a writer. So she's not ever getting better. She's never being told no on anything or change this or change that. So she never actually improves. And that's the worst part of a lot of these wokists is they will always be the level of mediocre they are because they have nobody telling them how to improve. Because everybody's afraid to be called a racist, a phobe, or whatever. It's really sad. All right, but that's going to be it for this one. We've covered the majority of what I wanted to get to. And yeah, that's it. So check out the Playmobil Knight Rider set. That looked really cool. And if you're super interested in that god-awful Kickstarter book, the link is up there in the chat. And support TSR. Plague of Wokists, exactly. They are cultural locusts, and they will devour everything in their path. And they've proven that time and time again. They're good at destroying things. But thank you all so much for coming out and supporting the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Hope you enjoyed the show. And I might do something later on, doing news articles or something, but we'll see. See how my voice is feeling, and I got a couple things I got to finish before that. So, but as always, thank you so much for the donations. It's greatly appreciated. And hopefully we'll see you on the next show. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you around.